Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live coverage of Asicc 2025 taking place at Pride in Mombasa, Kenya. This is the Africa Schools Individual Chess Championship, and we are currently watching the Under 13 Open. We unfortunately don't have the live digital boards. There is an issue with the link, but we can see the boards live. So we'll just make a slight adjustment. So the game that you're watching right now, my name is Victor Ngani, 2018 national champion, and with my co-commentator.
And my name is Isaac Otieno, 2023 national champion.
Yeah.
Well, that's the under 18 one.
But under 18 is like the toughest game.
It is. I remember back then we used to have Kina Robert, Rocky Mushiri, and it was actually a very good competition to win.
Okay. Yeah, indeed, it's a tough one. So today, unfortunately, we don't have the live board. I have a feeling that if we don't have the boards, I may have to adjust the camera better so we can actually see the position better. Right now, there's a bit of overlap. Then I'll increase some brightness. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay.
Because our viewers also want to see the whole board, and I can't really differentiate the black pieces from each other.
Okay.
Yes.
So, let us know what the event is, what's going on, who is playing who currently on the respective boards. We can. This looks like this is under 13, right?
It is.
And that means that the game we are looking at right now, this is a game between Jadon Simiyu, who is black, and he's playing against Kronje Johannes Christian. Where is Johannes Christian? Where is he from?
I think from Namibia.
Namibia. Yeah, that's correct. And he's not rated, but Jadon is rated 1923. This is round 2. Both of these players won their games.
Yes. And as Mr. Victor goes to just ensure you viewers can be able to see the whole footage clearly, we can just see Jaden has 1 hour 23 minutes on the clock, whereas the opponent has 1 hour and 11 minutes on the clock. Bill White to play. The opponent is still thinking. Maybe if we just get a clear shot of what's happening on the board, we can be able to even tell which opening they played, what's happening on the board right now. But I also can't see it clearly, so maybe just after it's fixed, we're good to go. But anyway, welcome back to Mr. Victor's YouTube channel. Feel free, you can always comment. Kindly don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share the video. Yep. So I'll just have a quick look at what's happening on the games. Maybe we can just go to chess results and look at the pairings for today. This is round 2 taking place on Saturday morning. We have actually spicy games coming up. I also saw Kuka Kyle was just behind Jadon. You can see there are some slight adjustments. Perfect. So you come with an extra seat. An extra seat. And I can't really put my that's the brilliant trophy. Yep. Yeah. Hope now the board is clearer. And just give me a minute logging on to chess results so that I can be able to have a look at the pairings, starting from the under 9 girls going all the way to under 17 open. Again, this is the 2025 African Schools Individual Chess Championship, where all the top talents from Kenya and also all over the continent just met and see who's the best. Last year's was we're live. And also today we'll be joined by the very strong Aguda. Maybe if you just kindly say hi to us. Hello. Yep. And that's Aguda. I don't know how many times national champion. Maybe we can just start by having a quick look at the under 7 and under 9 girls combined. On board 1 we're having Alicia Otamo versus Lucy Philip, and board 2 we're also having Mali Mogo versus Amanda Kagure Kimani. If you guys don't remember,
to take the camera rather than being on one board static. I'm going to move around across several boards. Then you try and
it's awesome.
follow through so that you show much players more boards.
I will. Okay, thanks. Yep, sorry about that. Just having creative ideas on how we can make you viewers enjoy the show. And yeah, as I was saying, you guys remember yesterday we were also commentating on Mali's game, playing against Aliyah Jasmine, who's also actually the under 7 national champion, and Mali plays in the under 9, the under 8 national champion, that's 2024. They had a really good match. Mali ended up winning the game, but it goes without saying that also Aliyah put up a very good fight. And in the under 9 open and under 7 open combined, I'll just look at the top boards. Board 1 is having Chimboza Henry playing against Leo Austin Moremi, and board 2 is Rotate Darren Keegan playing against Leshan. Board 3 Keyan Sheik playing against Tumusime Francis. Yeah, and also there's the strong Kenyan Mark Antoine playing on board 4, playing against Mali Mystery. So looking forward to those matches. In the under 11 open, board 1 is Wabwire Ronald, rated 1907, sorry, from Uganda actually, yeah, and then playing against Gomez Mando. And now we're having Frederick Ndegwa, board 2, playing against Nathaniel Manyeki. And board 3 is Conclave's Emilio playing against Jean Christophe Mojishu Dagimi. Normally people like calling him JC. And a quick look at under 11 girls. And as I'm reading this, you guys can have a live footage of what's happening on you guys are having a live footage of what's happening on Jadon Simeyu's board. The opponent has just made a move. Now Jadon taking his time, thinking about a move to make. And we'll also get to cover other boards apart from this board. So you guys just stay tuned. Again, sorry for the technical issues with the DGT boards, but they're being sorted out in a few. So I'm assuming come round 3 will be good to go. And in the under 11 girls, we're having Kaburu Winnie on board 1 black playing against Katsvara. Board 2 is Riley Matingi playing against Kim Vivika, and board 3 is Kayla Isendi playing against Shada Wanguta, if I am not wrong. We are having 44 boards, so it's actually going to be a very good fight. So far, only 46 players having maximum points. Moving now to under 13 open, and this is where the tournament starts becoming tough. I mean, you guys just know the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. You can see we're just trying to have a look at all the other games, and today we won't have we'll try and have like a static camera where you guys can just get to see what's happening with the whole board, rather than just only having a single board. Yes, sorry for the technical glitches again. And in the 13 open, in the under 13 open, you can see Schwartz Michael, the AFM from South Africa. You guys remember we had a conversation with her mother, with his mom yesterday, and yeah, he's doing well, sitting tight on board 1, playing white against David Mutana Mwige. Number 2 is Johannes Christian playing against Miyu Zedon, and that's the game that we were just watching. Now you guys can have a look at Kyle Cooker's game. Kyle is playing in the under 15 open. Right now you guys can just have a look at his game. He is playing against Alvin Thiaku Komo, also a Kenyan. Some very good game that you're watching. You can see Kyle has like a minute and 35, an hour and 35 minutes on the clock. Looks like he's just blitzing his way out, whereas his opponent has like an hour and 2 minutes on the clock. Just have a look at it. I think Kyle's material up. You can see the opponent has a rook, a bishop, and 3 pawns, whereas Kyle is having 3 pawns, a bishop, a knight, and also a rook. So Kyle is a minor piece up. Just moving on to the other segments. And Aguda is just joining us. Maybe if you could just tell us how this tournament will unfold. What do you think of the tournament so far, Aguda?
I think this is a very interesting tournament because in some of the categories we have very interesting matchups.
Yeah.
For the potential winners of the different categories. So I hope it will be a very interesting event.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is, do you think you're having favorites in this event? Maybe say in the under 9 you're having a favorite, in the under 13 you're having a favorite?
I think I have favorites mainly. I think it's just bias because I'm Kenyan. So the favorites in those categories, obviously the top Kenyan juniors in them.
Oh, okay. So in the under 13, I think Jadon is one of the guys. I'm also supporting Jadon.
Yeah, I'm not supporting Jadon. I expect him to win that category.
Okay.
He may even finish with 9 out of 9, which he normally does. He's done it before. He wants to repeat it again. Yeah. So I hope he'll repeat it this time.
Then I've seen in the under 15 open there's Kyle Cooker playing on the 2 against Alvin Komu. What do you think about Kyle? Do you think he's maybe your favorite in that?
There's Kyle in that. He's one of the favorites, but don't forget the current national champion in that category is called Winjo.
Actually, we are.
Don't forget about him. Don't forget there's several capable young fellows in that category. They're equally strong, but don't rule out one over the other. There's Kyle, there's Taji, there's Winjo. I think even Jeremiah is there.
Jeremiah?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's growing. You should have seen his games versus them last year, especially his game versus Taji. It was a very interesting game.
And actually, interesting about under 15 girls. We have some good Kenyan talent there. We have Kalokizuri, we have Ella, we have Cassidy, we have Shukri Shakira. I think these guys are always that's the category that's full of our young talents.
Unfortunately, we only have 3 medals. So one of them will miss out.
Now we don't know who.
We don't
But
know
I'm
who,
hoping
but
Team Kenya can scoop position 1, 2,
1, 2, 3. Even under 15, I hope you take 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4. Just for the sake of
The top
it.
5 being Kenyan is also a very good thing for us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be patriotic here. But anyway, we're just wishing everyone who's playing in that category the best, and every federation being represented in that category. Wishing you guys all the best. And now the under 17 open, the oldest age bracket in this. There's Jamie Rashid. Has Rashid ever been a national champion? I think he's won a couple.
I'm not too sure.
championships. Because he won was it the East African something?
Yeah, he's won several of them. He's quite a strong player. He won a brilliancy award in a tournament in Uganda with a certain Rook C1 move. That move was amazing.
I think this is Zori's game. You guys can see Zori Kalok playing as white against. Just check the name.
Also, I think in that under 17 category, we have very interesting prospects. There's Jamie there, Rishit is there. We also have Paul there, Paul Orlando.
And I remember yesterday I was talking to Jamie, and Jamie said Paul Orlando isn't clearly the under 17 national champion because they didn't meet. So I am looking forward to them meeting in this event so that they can settle their feud and see who's the best.
There's also the wild card, Jerry Simeon, the master of draws.
I played against that guy. One very annoying opponent to have. When you play against one, just to watch. Simeon Jet is actually the brother to Taylor, so you can imagine this is now becoming a chess powerhouse. I'm also having a look at under 17 girls. I can see there's Kigambi Angel, also a household name, Zaina, Chanel. Wait, Chanel is playing in the under 17?
Yeah, she is.
But how old is Chanel?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know if she should be playing like an Canadian season. You're already just looking at the names I'm used to. But yeah, so who's your favorite in this category? There's also Erica, don't forget, playing on board and against Chapman.
Erica, my favorite is Angel, but it's a very strong second.
What about Zaina?
Zaina is also there, but I favor Erica.
And there's Bunnies. I remember Bunnies had a winning spree. When was it? 2023?
Yeah, I think it was 2023. She was even the under 18 national champion.
I think it was in the under 12 in 2023. She was in the under 12, came in the under 18 category, whooped everyone. I think she played in the under 12 open, still won but yeah, also Bunnies will be my wild card. I think she might end up surprising some people in this event. Very strong. And yeah, I hope you guys are having the live coverage of what's happening. That's the under 15 girls being just showcased right now. Waiting for. Sorry again. I think Mr. Dennis is working on the DGT board so that you guys can have a live coverage of the scene of every board, every top board that is. Unfortunately, today in the under 7, under 9, we're only having ones using the DGT boards, but in the other categories, board 1, the board 2s are also using the DGT boards. We can't really have a look at the boards. You can see Ariane. If I'm not wrong, yeah, she's playing there, playing against, really can't tell. So, maybe I'm gonna just have a look at this chassis 8 years ago and where we currently are. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think we've come a long way, a very, very long way. I don't remember Isaiah if you remember.
Back then we used to play in the under 10, under 12.
I don't know if you remember those events. Even getting 100 people for the tournament was very hard.
I remember the showcase was against the category only had
I think we're back and the sound is very good now. I think.
Hello. Yeah.
I can see them. My apologies, guys, for the audio loss.
Perfect. Good. As I was saying, we're having a look at Jadon's game. As we were talking with Buddha, we said that he's one of the promising talents, and even the category's favorite for me, for you, I think. And yeah, he's playing with the black pieces. Maybe we could just have a quick look at what's happening on the board. Buddha, if you could just kindly do the honors, maybe tell us what is your thought on the position.
If you look at the position, this looks
Even trying to figure out the whole board. We can see the black pieces. A knight is on a5, the two pawns on a7, b6, the light squared bishop on b7, sitting pretty confidently on that diagonal. That's the a8 to h1 diagonal. We're having a rook having the semi-open file. That's the c file. That the queen still in its initial square, the black has castle, the bishop on e7, and then a knight on f6, together with that very good pawn blockade, rather the pawn wall that's protecting the king. That's h7, g7, f7, and also e6. Maybe just have a look at the white pieces. Good. And d5 has just been played.
I think if you looked at the position before, there was an attack on c4 pawn by Jadon. So I'm not sure if that's an attempt now to try and save the pawn or to mediate the damage.
I can see the pawns having it's being double attacked by the knight on a5 together the rook on c8, a pretty weak pawn because it's a backward pawn. Also seeing it's only being defended by the light squared bishop on e2. Maybe do you think that's like a positional sacrifice for white? What do you think?
I think it's an attempt to try and weaken Jadon's pawn structure. It's trying to tempt him to pick the pawn on c4 so that he can take the pawn on e6. Force Jadon to have an isolated pawn on e6. But I'm not too sure. Is that pawn really okay? What happens if black takes the pawn? The d pawn.
Yeah, we can see Johannes Christian not giving Jadon an easy time. My thoughts is I think we can actually start by taking the pawn on c4. The question is, what does it really do? Because pawn takes, knight takes the pawn, then bishop takes the knight, and then rook takes the pawn, then automatically white will have to go with b takes the pawn on e6. And unfortunately, we're not having the option of capturing it with any other piece apart from the pawn on f7, which is not a very good idea considering now we are weakening our pawns by having isolated pawns. But currently, I feel like between black or white, who do you think is having the best position? Yesterday, if you guys were listening to the stream, Mr. Victor was teaching me on the 6 principles of how a commentator should analyze the position. So maybe we can just have a look at it. One of them being central, the central control. What do you think? Who's controlling the center currently? Do you think it's white or do you think it's black? And Jaden goes for e takes on d5.
I was also considering that e takes d5.
What do we end up having after e takes on e5?
Now, if you just look at the position carefully, the pawn is underprotected. The pawn is underprotected. It's protected.
Maybe could we just even kindly have our own like board set up where we can be analyzing the game outside as other people are watching it? Just a quick thought. A quick thought. Can we just like maybe go to an analysis board, capture this game, try and analyze it from a different point of view? Yeah. It will make our life easier. Just trying to give you guys just trying to set up the position being played by Jadon and Joanne, that you guys can be able to see the whole game. Cheza captures him. Controls.
Yes.
Position setup. Here's Streamlabs.
Yes.
3 leeches. Mm-hmm.
Down.
We'll just unmute that and check. Hello. Mic testing. Which one are we using? Let me just confirm. Hello.
So these are scenes. So this is like that's what
just
you
changes.
see.
Yeah.
We have audio now.
Hello. Really?
Whatever you unmute, maybe something unmuted and it's working.
Hello, but you still can't see
We
it.
had now we have audio. Good.
Okay, perfect.
Good job. Right. That's where we are.
But now we need to update our our board.
What's happened? You can see it clearly.
Can you see it clearly and you can get the audio? Perfect.
What happened from there?
We just need to we need to update our games or they were left behind.
After e-takes, I was pushing e-takes, right? Sure.
Can we get the full screen of the other?
You can, whatever. It's literally all that's happened. Black has taken.
We want to see the whole other camera.
Always as you go to raising chess campus in Africa, you can live. You've had so many issues with sound.
Umeona? Mimi hadi siwezi iona clearly. But I was requesting maybe if you could just get the whole board.
Taken. Black taken.
And then white has also taken the pawn.
Yeah, white has taken the pawn.
So white
taken the pawn.
took the pawn and then
knight took.
this knight.
Knight has taken. Queen has taken.
This is the position that you have in Rena?
Yeah, that's the position. That should be the position. Unless you can just go and go back and confirm.
Switching off.
Yeah, that's the position.
And the queen went all the way to
Not all, just the one that is mentioned.
Mana queen ikienda mahali, right?
Yeah. Now, what do you think of this position is that?
Good. So I think so far so good. Both having very good piece activity, and you can see the way the black queen, that's Jadon's queen, together with the bishop are linking up while just creating that, the knight's x-ray attacking the g2 pawn. So far that's all I can see. What about you? Good. And even now the knight can come into play. The knight on f5, maybe say knight c6, knight e5, having some future prospects on the king side. What do you think?
I'm finding this position quite interesting. Quite interesting because the C, D, and E file all are open.
Correct. White just played queen a4, and it's Jadon's turn to play. Maybe if even Mr. Victor, you could give us an input of what you think about the position.
Yes, so what I said yesterday is the best way to analyze a position is to follow the following steps. Number one,
yes,
start with material. So what's the material balance? Material balance is
Jadon is a pawn up.
Up a pawn. So
yes,
already materially that's very good. Second thing you have to look at is the pawn structure.
Correct.
The pawn structure is you'd say even, except that the A2 pawn is an isolated pawn.
Yes.
We tend to spare those kinds of pawns a little bit because there's no pawn on the other side, but it's still an isolated pawn. And then in terms of pawn structure, we have a 2 versus 1 majority on the queen side.
Yes.
A majority means that eventually if you exchange all the pawns on either side, that person, the majority, will have one extra pawn, which can then become a pass pawn in the end game, and that's a big asset. And this is an outside passer. So from the pawn structure perspective, black is having a ball. In fact, black can aim for the end game, and black is going to be perfectly fine. The next thing you want to look at is development, piece development. Yes. And all players, all the pieces are out, they're castled, so this is quite fine. Next point is king safety. Both kings are safe, perfectly castled behind the pieces. Then the next thing is piece activity. So for piece activity, 2 ways to go about it.
Yes.
Look at piece versus piece. So let's start with the knights. The black knight is definitely not having a good time.
Yes.
Plus it can't move easily. If it moves, there's a pawn that is hanging on a7, unless the knight goes to c6. in which case it blocks the bishop. So you can say the white knight is slightly better than the black knight. Let's go to the dark squared bishops. Dark squared bishops, definitely the b2 bishop is better than the e7 bishop. The b2 is a bit of a monster. So if I'm black, I'd be thinking, how can I get rid of this bishop if I don't something else? The dark squared bishop for white.
Yes.
Light squared bishops, the reverse is true. We have the monster sitting on b7 versus the e7 pawn, e7 bishop, sorry. And then look at the queens. There's a queen standing majestically in the center. So the white-black queen is better, definitely. And the rooks, you'd say, are comparable because the c8 and e1 rooks are doing a lot. The a1 and f8 rooks, not so much. So piece activity is about even. Other things will be knight outposts. Nobody has a knight outpost in this position. Yeah. So I think activity-wise, the impression I get is that the black pieces are slightly better coordinated. The knight is a bit offside, but it's doing something important. At any moment, it can jump to the square c4, creating havoc as well. So I see some good ideas. Now, white has just played queen to a4. The main point of that is to make room for a rook. So in short order, expect a rook to make an appearance on d1, gaining a tempo on the queen. So I would say black is slightly better, but slightly. There's a lot of play in this position, and everyone has to be careful. A number of things can go wrong. So here you want to pay attention to what the possible active moves are, what can come out of it, and be imaginative. If you play quickly in this position, you have to spend your time, make a good plan. If I'm black, I don't mind exchanging a couple of pieces. I have this endgame advantage, and then try and create my pass pawn and see if I'll win. Isaiah.
Correct. I love those ideas. Okay, we just kindly go and
Mr. Ngani, I have a question for you in that position. Do you think also a viable plan for white would be to aim for the pawn on on a7? Do you think it's viable for white to try and put pressure towards that diagonal to try and either get the knight out of there?
Yeah, so that's definitely a plan to try and get the a7 pawn, but I'm looking at the possible moves. So that would be if you can get that's fantastic, but I don't see how. The pawn is on
I'm looking at ideas like maybe this rook c1, bishop c3, maybe after knight goes back to c6, moves like bishop
b4.
b5. Yeah.
So one test of a plan is to give yourself, like, if your plan takes more than 4 moves, first is too long. Although there are plans that can take more than 4 moves if the position is close, and it's fine, because in that time that you're using 4 moves, your opponent is also doing something. Remember, you're not playing alone. That's the first thing. So to check your plan, you look for what is called a fantasy position. So your plan is you have a rook on c1, bishop on b5, sorry, and what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you have to bring a bishop, and the knight is now sitting on c6, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're thinking is, if you pick, they pick back, then can you pick the pawn on a7?
Yes.
So what I want to tell the youngsters is this: I give myself two moves. The first move is bishop b5, rook c1, and then I give black only one move, knight c6, right? And we actually have also bishop to c3 to get the knight out, to force the knight to move away, right? So there are 3 moves: rook c1, bishop c3, bishop b5.
Speaking of which, I can actually see there's a shift in the position, and now Jaden is a whole minor piece up.
Okay,
The bishop on b2 has just been captured. I'm trying to figure out how exactly. And actually the rook is on f1.
We'll just go back on and just check, but it's an important point I'm raising in terms of this positional. So after those 3 moves,
Yes.
ask yourself, Buddha,
Yes.
does white black have an easy answer? So you do all those 4 moves, and if after those 4 moves white can play a simple move and all your plans go to naught, then you know that's not a good plan. For example, after all those moves, rook c1, bishop c3, bishop b5, and you only give black one move, knight c6, so it means they did nothing else waiting for you to just play your moves. In this position, what can they do to save their pawn? Automatically, you see the move a5. Yes, it weakens the d6 square, but now you have to change focus again. So that tells me that plan may not be viable because the number of moves you need are not commensurate with the response. Simple move, and remember in those 4 moves, black is doing something. But as you're saying something very important, the equation has changed. We had
Sorry, guys. I think the position has just changed. Maybe we could just kindly have a look at their board and see what's happening. And as you guys can see, I think now Jaden is a whole minor piece up, just trying to figure out how we got there. And you can see the way John is just kind of very uncomfortable with the position, trying to think of what he can do.
Where is the white black queen?
The black queen is now on b2, just captured the dark squared bishop that was there. I'm also trying to figure out how did the queen come from d5, maneuver its way to getting the
I think
bishop.
I understand what has happened.
Yes.
It seems that instead of bringing the rook to c1, it seems like maybe the bishop went there to c1, and now the queen moved to attack both, either maybe possibly to attack both the bishop and the rook. I'm not too sure what has happened there.
I see it's just a straight up blunder by black. I suspect the move that was played by black was queen to b3, which was a fork, threatening both the bishop and the queen on a5. I think the response by white was bishop to d1, protecting the queen, but forgetting that there was a bishop hanging on b2. That is what I believe happened. Let's have a look. Of course, the viewers have an advantage. We can see on the video feed. We didn't have access to that video feed. And actually, I'm seeing that's exactly. I see Jadon played after queen f4. Jadon played queen b3. Queen b3 was a move that is attacking the queen on a4 and the bishop on b2. It actually forces an exchange of queens. Very nice. Again, remember what we said, aim for the end game. You already have a serious advantage, but the pieces can be unpleasantly active.
Correct.
So, but there was a pawn on a2.
Actually, the pawn was on b3. Maybe that's where the whole tactic came into
But
play.
how did, because this pawn has been on a, it was on b3.
It was on b3. It has been on b3. Sorry, guys, our board analysis was bad. Maybe if you could just kindly change that in a few, and you guys can be able to see what's happening.
So I think that is resigns. Jadon will not give that one.
Yes.
That's a
Very good play from Jadon.
Yeah. And just looking now at the replay of the video to see how I also need to make some adjustments.
Yes.
Now, Faded Colors was asking where this is. This is in Mombasa, Kenya, the African Individual Schools Chess Championship 2025. That is what this is.
I think this is the position that you have right now.
Yes, this is the position that we have. Yes.
No. That's set up. Perfect. And now this is the position that is just currently we're currently having. waiting to see Christian's response to Queen takes on B2, and Coach Mr. Victor has just given us a simple answer, and the answer is black, or sorry, white resigns. Christian trying to figure out what he could do. The position, you can see the way he's a bit frustrated. I'm sure maybe he didn't really calculate what would happen. The aftermath, after now the Queen has just captured the bishop on B2, and he's clearly a minor piece down with no compensation. Maybe Mr. Ngani, as you're waiting for Jadon, as you're waiting for Christian to make a move, what would you just maybe what's your thought whenever you're having such delicate positions, positions that really need that deep understanding of what's happening? You need to understand the dynamics of the position. Maybe what's your take on such positions? Because as we've seen, right now Christian just made a move hurriedly, and at the end ended up blundering a whole piece. Maybe for the viewers, what could you advise us to take into consideration in such tough positions to ensure we don't make such blunders?
Yes, so the lessons that have been taught to guide players on what to consider. So chess tactics, surprisingly, are not very many. They're not many. They're either going to be eventually all tactics come down to two possible things. One is a double attack, and two is attacking something that is not defended adequately.
True.
Which is basically a free or hanging piece or a hanging square. So for you to be wary and sort of stave off these kinds of losses, it's important to, in the position, see what are the possibilities. What pieces does my opponent have? Say, for example, a knight. What are the possible things they can fork? For example, a knight can only fork pieces that are sitting on the same square as the knight. Next color. For example, the knight f3, the knight on f3, it can't fork anything right now that is sitting on that square, because it changes colors with every move. So that's the first thing. Second thing you have to look at is hanging pieces. Three pieces that are not defended. So a loose piece that's not defended is a really serious threat. So in this position, white should have seen that they have a bishop on b2 that's not defended, meaning it can be attacked. If it's attacked, it can be captured. And then what General Rodisky calls a type 2 undefended piece, which is a piece that's defended only one time, because a second attacker can then create a lot of trouble.
True.
Then also look at your king position. Do you have any weaknesses? Then imagine how that attack can happen. So essentially, those are the key things that you're looking at, how more pieces can come into the board, how into the game, how more guys can come to the party. Pretty much it.
Right.
Like in this position now, I'm seeing my rook is undefended on a1. Just from that alone, that tells you, A, can it be attacked? Yes, it can be attacked. In fact, it's being attacked right now by a queen that's sitting on b2. So how do I solve that problem?
And actually, I think that's what Christian is maybe trying to figure out. Because number one, he's lost a very vital bishop. We were trying to compare the two dark squared bishop. That's the black's dark squared bishop and the white's dark squared bishop. And we say that the white's dark squared bishop was a seating mainis, right? But now Christian has just lost it. The rook on a1 is under attack. You can't really move the bishop to either c2 or b2 because it'll just end up being captured by either the rook or the knight. You have to, the only square I think that white can play is bishop to e2. Maybe Christian is just trying to figure out how will that even happen.
Bishop to b2, queen just takes on e2. Bishop to e2 can be taken.
Actually, now even the rook, now you have to choose between the rook or the bishop.
No. He has queen to d4. See it?
Yes.
Diagonal, queen to d4. But you don't want to play that move either, because guess what black will play after queen to d4? This is not a tactical thing, this is positional chess. After queen to d4, what will black play?
I'm looking at all the options. I can even see bishop takes on a3 as a move.
Yes, that's
bishop takes to a3.
So simple chess.
Or even bishop f6.
Simple chess. What's the piece position?
Black is a whole minor piece
and a pawn, right?
Yeah. So the rule of the rich.
Rule of the rich, yes.
Just exchange.
Exchange, yes. Simple chess. So a lot of chess actually doesn't involve any calculation. And I'm certain, almost certain, queen takes d4 is
Queen takes d4 is going to be played, but isn't
bishop f6.
and I'm thinking of
and then bishop f6 comes next. And so I would play queen takes d4, not because I've seen bishop f6, but because that is the correct move.
the correct move.
I'm a piece up. All the advantages we spoke about before we won the piece remain. Queen side pawn majority.
Correct.
Extra pawn will make a queen. Now I have a bishop in my pocket without blinking, and it's going to be the right move.
Correct. So I don't even have to think about now
Don't have to think
getting
about
more
now
material.
playing.
And actually, after queen to d4, then queen takes on e4, knight takes on f4. On e4, sorry, bishop f6 actually is pinning the knight. The knight moves, you lose the rook. You really can't defend the knight. So again, you're still losing.
So we
material
have a
even
comment from
after.
Clifford Mwenda. Clifford Mwenda says bishop f6, which is not a bad move, but Clifford, the best thing is first get the queens off.
Correct.
Because then that reduces the risk that of you losing something suddenly.
Exactly.
And then bishop f6 can come after. So queen takes d4, knight takes d4, and then bishop to f6.
Correct.
You can see the rook and the knight are on the same diagonal, and you have to decide who of those two you're going to lose. The only move you can play is most likely knight. You can't play anything, by the way.
Yeah,
Maybe knight c2. Take
even
your
knight
bishop.
c2 is you still lose the piece. You still
Yeah,
lose the
you lose the
piece,
piece.
and it's just bad. And once maybe say bishop takes on a1, knight takes on a1, rook c1 is also a
Rook
move.
c1 comes in.
Correct.
Now the knight, if you now here you can calculate, you can calculate. Knight comes back to.
If that goes to c2,
Let's go to the board and show these moves.
correct.
Okay.
So what we're thinking of is queen has to come.
Yeah, and
Queen takes.
why must you exchange queens, by the way? Let's go back and see. What you're saying is, the first thing you're saying is that you want to, this rook is being attacked, right?
Correct.
It can't move out of the way to be picked in all these squares, right?
Yes.
So you have a defender, you say, aha, I can move this bishop, and now this rook is defending this rook.
Yes.
Good point. But where do you move your bishop to? Defended by the queen? Nope.
Attacked by the rook and the
Rook
queen.
can take,
Correct.
or I can take with my queen.
True.
You can't move it to be here either. There's a
Because
knight,
it's double attacked by the knight.
and there's a, so doesn't work.
Correct.
What about this last square?
Still has a
Use
direct
this.
attack.
So the only thing that you can do is actually play here, which then defends your rook, because now you can't take the rook. But then this is what black wants again: exchange queens. Then Aguda Luanga, what's your title, Aguda? Candidate Master.
Yes.
Candidate Master Aguda Luanga, who is here with us, says play
Bishop
this move.
f6. Correct.
And you play it without calculating, because it improves
The
the
bishop's
bishop's position. Even if you're not winning an exchange, which you are, actually,
Yes. Yes.
because all you have to do is to play this guy, then bring this rook into the game, if you can, you know, these kinds of things. Yeah, but
And actually, I feel at this after this position, White's position is really just falling apart, because after that, then knight has to take.
yeah,
The rook comes here, attacking the knight. Maybe say the knight has to go to b3, because say if knight goes to c2, automatically rook coming to d1, d8, sorry, improves the rook. At the same time, now puts more pressure on the bishop on d1. So at this point, now between between white having to play queen d4 and white just accepting his fate and playing something like bishop e2 to avoid further material losses, what will you pick?
I think I'd rather just lose
The bishop other than
at this point, because if you even go back to that position, this last position of the rook c1, the only viable move that seems after rook c1, knight c2, rook to g, rook to d8, the only viable move that seems playable is knight e3. But this bishop a3 is simply bishop a6, sorry, attacking the rook, and you also have now moves. After rook e1, you have moves like bishop e2.
correct. So white is
yeah,
just
and actually, white is better than us. They found a better move. Queen d7.
queen
D for dog.
queen d7 has just
D7.
been
So making
played.
it a loss of an exchange, because you take my rook, I take a bishop. And after all the variations you've looked at, that is by far the best move. Or do you
But still, does it really solve white problems? I'm thinking of bishop a6.
Not even bishop
No.
e6.
Bishop F6.
Why not just play a simple move, bishop f6?
Bishop F6.
Even bishop. Actually, the bishop on b7 is just being protected.
Bishop F6.
So bishop f6 still doesn't solve
Bishop f6.
white problems.
We'll sort this problem.
This bishop f6.
And still, the rook is still hanging.
The rook is still hanging. Maybe,
And now,
maybe not
even queen d4 is not even possible.
Queen d4 is not possible actually, but then Jadon picked quickly on a1. I think simple chess again.
The rule of the rich. You just
There's something in life called the law of diminishing returns. Do you know what that is, genius man?
genius man.
Both of
The
them
law
are
of
geniuses.
diminishing
Do
return.
you know the rules of diminishing return? Odongo and Agud and Isaiah.
I think that's a term used in economics, if I'm not wrong.
It is in economics.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what does it mean, the law of diminishing returns. It has something to do with is it the utility? The more you're using a product, the less you get satisfied with it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Try.
Good try.
And I see you're playing logic to that question. But what it means is, the more you have of something, the less more of it adds value to you.
Correct.
For example, if you have $1 billion shillings today, right? Having 1.2 billion may not really be as impactful as having, you see, it's an extra 200 million, right?
Yes.
But
it is.
200 million, if you're coming from zero, man, that's everything.
That's a
But
lot.
coming from $1 billion, 200 million may not be as significant. So
Correct.
the more you have of something, the less more of it adds value. And the same thing applies in chess. You already have a piece and a pawn. You're getting an exchange right now. So, sorry, Isaiah. I have
It's
to take
okay.
this
It's okay.
one. This is a very important person.
Maybe as Mr. Victor is on the phone call, we can just update our position instead. They don't need to complicate the position by playing
I was
bishop f6. You just
streaming.
simply went for,
I'm streaming live.
Queen takes
And I'm
on
streaming.
a1.
Anyway, what's up? Yeah, so we are at the Friday note. Clear the card right now. I rather clear the card if it's
Inakusumbua?
yeah, and
Sasa, asante sana. Bado. Hakuna shida. Hata hadi tunang'ang'ana kusort out share digit alafu itakuwa even better. Thanks so much.
Ona hii, I think niko na solution.
Kwanza hii hadi inafanya nini kwanza?
You can replace that with this one. You can replace with this. So this is right. And here have inputs.
Okay.
That's why direct. What to make it was because
Sawa sawa basi.
solution is
Okay.
no.
Huh?
No.
Technology. sorry guys.
Kienda break. Niambie ndo ni edit sana.
Okay, sawa. I can see Clifford is asking, who are you playing? I really can't get that. I don't understand that question. Who are you playing? I'm assuming you'll be asking about who Jadon is playing against. Jadon is playing against Christian from Namibia, and maybe if you could just kindly bring you up to speed on what has just happened. We have seen that after the queen took on a1, queen took on e7, and Jadon brought his queen all the way back to f6, challenging the queen. The queen went back to d7. Just trying to figure out what happened. Sorry guys, we've been having a lot of stories here, and just trying to figure out what has just happened. But now I can see we are having the bishop has gotten to C. The bishop has actually gotten to C. Oh, which is actually good. The queen's on d3. Sorry, that's actually the queen. Trying to figure out what's happening in this position. Sorry guys, my live bleachers board is actually just out of touch, but you guys can see what is happening on the Killer Jadon's game. And queen b1 has been played, and now you can see the knight jumping into action, and knight to b3 has just been played. The knight being defended by the queen, if I'm not wrong. And you can see the way Jadon is just improving his position bit by bit. Yeah, Clifford Mwenda, it's Jadon who's playing. Oh, now he says now the strong moves make sense now. Yeah. So 1900, 2000 rated moves being made by Jadon here. You can see that he's just developing, the way he's just improving his position bit by bit. You can see Christian a bit uncomfortable again with the position. This actually happens to all the chess players. Whenever you're losing, you're just so uneasy. You're trying to figure out what can you do. You're even looking at other people, just trying to figure out what you're going to do with the board. We're waiting. He's thinking and thinking. Let's see what he'll end up playing. That's the board that you're having right now, as you guys can see. Now knight g5 has just been played. G5 has just been played. Jadon goes for queen takes on f3. That's actually a very good f1, sorry, check. That's a very good tactic. And the queen has to capture on f1, and now rook comes to c1, forcing you to get into a queen exchange. And you can see clearly from just Jadon getting that simple tactic of queen takes on b2. White's position has just been completely shattered. Now again, Jadon trying as much as they can to simplify the position. Dina amesort hiyo issue. Dina amesort hiyo issue ya DGT. Mando anaendelea.
Tony.
Now queen took the queen on f1, and as I had said, rook takes queen takes on f1 and rook went to c1, and Christian has just played knight f6. Jadon went for the rook trade. Now that's the position, and you can see he's just simplified the position from now being a minor piece up to being a whole rook up, and white has no compensation whatsoever. White is also up one down. You can see Jadon is having the queenside pawn majority, and let's see how he'll put it to use. Queen takes on f1 has just been played. And again, as you guys are seeing this, that is the position that has just occurred right now. And queen, instead of queen f3 was played, queen takes on f1, so it was played. Rook came to c1, and then Christian played knight to f6, and Jadon just simply went for rook takes, king takes, and that's what you're having right now. And now some pawns pushes have begun. Jadon has just played b5. Now you can see what's happening. Now Jadon has just managed to capture the knight, and he's clearly winning. Now he's a rook and a whole minor piece up. Brilliant conversion. Correct, Clifford Mwenda. I think Jadon just played some brilliancies here, and now he's just clearly winning. So it's just a matter of time until we see white either resigning or even just Jadon trying to do his thing and win the game. H5 has just been played by Jadon. F3. Now I am thinking of rook to e1 next, rook to e2 sorry next by Jadon, and he's just pushed h4.
Go back. No, I'm asking. You haven't started yet. So you're analyzing it?
F5. I normally call these Hail Marys, where you just know you lost. You're just trying to give out the last kicks of a dying horse and see where you land. And knight f1 check has been played. I think Jadon is trying to create a mating net, which will be evident in a few moves. King G1. And now E5 has been played. Jadon is not in a hurry to just convert the position. He's just slowly doing his thing now, maybe trying to create an outside passer, get an extra queen, and maybe even make his checkmating work easier. B5, B4 just played, forcing the exchange. Well, if the pawn goes to A4, it really doesn't help. B3, B2, and finally promotion on B1 is going to take place. A takes B4. Automatically A takes on B4 also. Jadon taking a moment. Maybe he might even be trolling his opponent. He actually played A4. Why? I think his plan is to maybe promote on the dark square. Maybe that's why he didn't want to take on B4. Going to promote to A1 and queen, or what I think promoting maybe a queen or even a bishop also works. Whichever piece that will get to control the dark squares is very okay. So maybe say promoting into a queen and finally getting your queen to D4 check and checkmate following in a few moves. Pawn takes on G7 has been played, and B2 is the solution, correct. Jadon plays B2 and promoting in the next move. B5 played by Christian, and finally A1. Let's see what Jadon will promote to. The opponent having 49 minutes on the clock, Jadon having an hour and 14 minutes on the clock, and this game is just about to be wrapped up. Jadon promotes the queen on A1, and I can see queen D4 will be played any moment from now. Maybe say Christian might want to play king to F2, trying to maybe relieve the king, is trying to give the king some escape squares, but still it won't help. It's just a matter of moves. Oh no, he played B6 and now just waiting for queen D4 check. Correct. Queen D4 check. The king has to go back to H1, which is actually a forced square, and now once the knight just comes out of A1, we are seeing checkmate in a few moves. The king really can't use the G3 square to escape, simply because Jadon ensured he had cemented his pawn on H5. So that means he had cemented his pawn on H4, sorry. That means that G3 is no longer an escape square for the white king, and after the knight moves, then automatically queen to G1 is going to be checkmate in a few moves. King H1 has been played. Now the knight goes to G3 check. King has to go to H2, and finally rook to H1 is checkmate. So the game is just winding up. Let's see how Jadon will finish the game. King H2 is the first move. Sorry, you're seeing someone's head over there, but that's the and finally rook goes to H1 checkmate. Good game, well played by Jadon. You can see the way he just converted his position just from having a tactic and getting a bishop to being a minor piece up to getting an extra piece, now even having a whole rook and a knight without white's compensation. And finally he promoted into a queen, went for queen D4 check. The king had no escape square because of the brilliant H5 H4 pawn push by Jadon, and now they're shaking hands, and the game is over. Well played by Jadon. Also, Christian is a very tough opponent, really didn't give Jadon an easy time, and finally, the game is over. Good play by Team Kenya, and let's keep on the good luck. You can see right now, most of the games have actually been finished. Let's see if you'll get a new board to commentate. Congratulations to Jayden. Good stuff. I'm trying to figure out whose game this is. You can see now we're having a new game. Is this Winnie? I think actually this is Winnie. Yeah, Winnie playing. Let me just have a quick look at their games. Winnie playing in the under 11 girls. As you guys were just looking at this game, I think this is the under 15 ladies, under 15 girls playing in this hall together with all the board ones. That's from under 11 all the way to under 17. Winnie is actually the top seed in her category with a rating of 1685, followed by Riley Matingi with 1627. Currently playing on board one against Katsvara. What a name, Katsvara. Country gani? Good stuff. We can see Cassidy just taking a stroll around the playing hall, maybe trying to identify her potential targets. She's one serious lady when it comes to such games. Maybe just taking a stroll, looking at what's happening on the games. Yep. There's the one and only FM Steve Umer. You can see Genevieve Mashao from far. She's a very strong player, playing in under lights out. Clifford telling me that's Winnie. Yeah, that's Winnie. I just noticed that. She's playing board one against Katsvara. And yeah, how I pray we could have had more time with her board. But let's just take a quick look at what's happening on the playing hall. We can see some games just done. Kyle was playing somewhere here. There is Zuri Kaloki. I'm sure you guys have to know the Kaloki siblings. That's Howie against and Zuri. And Zuri is playing in the under 17 girls. Currently playing against. I'm trying to figure out who's Zuri playing against. If you guys can help me out, I think she's actually in the under 15, if I'm not wrong. Not even under 17. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm making you age faster. Zuri playing on board 2 with the white pieces, playing against Candice Tawananyasha, if I'm not wrong. That's how you spell that name. I'm assuming that's the correct one. You can see Winnie just borrowed her opponent's score sheet to maybe rectify a few errors she just made on her score sheet. Trying to figure out, is Kyle still playing? He was actually just playing next to Jaden. Maybe once we get a clear view of what's happening, you can even be able to tell what's happening. You can see Zuri's position. You can see Winnie's position, having a very good bishop on H3. The opponent is having some light square weaknesses. The queen is on D3, attacking the knight at the same time, maybe even preparing to go to F3 and get a checkmate. The opponent's queen is also doing the same, attacking. Wow, what just happened? I think the opponent might have hung the queen by mistake. Now bishop takes on D7 has just been played. The opponent is queenless. That caught us by surprise. Wow, what a good unfolding. As soon as the recording sheet is out, the queen is also out. Now the opponent is processing what has just happened. The opponent just resigned after bishop takes the hanging queen on d7, and Winnie has just won the game. Well played by Winnie. How I pray we could have seen at least some action in the game, but as soon as we just landed on the game, we are seeing the queen flew off the board and the king had to resign. Well played by Winnie. Well played. Clifford says the bishop and Josina saying you can't see me. True. Honestly speaking, I didn't even see the queen was hanging on d7. Maybe Katsvara might have just made a quick queen move because she thought since her knight is under attack, why not also attack Winnie's bishop, and the bishop that was on d6, that's when happened. And you've just seen what has happened. Bishop slaps the queen on d7 and Katsvara just resigned. Now just trying to look for other games. We can see this has to be Zuri's game, playing against a player with a very lengthy name, Chikumbirike Candice Tawananyasha. Chikumbirike Candice Tawananyasha. What a name. And Zuri is having a very good position. I can see Zuri is a whole queen up, I think, and a minor piece. And Zuri is having checkmate in one move. Zuri having checkmate in one move, and that game is just about to be. What is not happening? Whenever we land on a board, it's like we're having a checkmating jinx. Checkmate has been played. Zuri pauses the clock, and we might see a handshake, signing of the score sheets. That is well played. Let's go, Team Kenya. Now handshake comes, good stuff. Maybe signing the score sheets, and that's done and dusted. And now we can see Whose game is this? I can see Cassidy's hand up. I think she's also just won her game. I don't know who she was playing against. Maybe if we'll just have a quick look at who Cassidy was playing against. Maybe that's why she was taking a stroll. She just knew her game was finished. Her game was over. Just came and now she's raising up her hand, claiming the victory. Cassidy was playing on board 4. And she was playing against Eve Omondi, also a Kenyan. And now Cassidy has just won. Kaloki Zuri has also won. Let's see how the other games. Actually, Shukri is playing on board 5 black. And maybe she might have also finished her game because I can't see her. She was supposed to just be seated next to Cassidy. And we are having Bella Nashipai, who's just playing. Zuri's game finished. Nika game zote zimeanza kuisha. And whose game is this? Whose game is this? The game looks like it's still in its early stages in the middle game. Can't really tell the players. Maybe just I might want to have a quick look on chess results on what's happening. You can see some other games still going on. Yeah, and actually most of the games have just been finished, and other games are in the end games. So I'm assuming in the next maybe 30 minutes, most of the games will be done. There's the Zambian who was just playing against Zuri, walking out. And whose game are we having? You can see only 47 minutes on the clock and 38 minutes on the clock. Actually, the game might even take longer. This is more than an hour's time with the game still going on. And just having a quick look, you can see White is already having a passed pawn, sitting confidently on d6, just awaiting promotion. Sorry about that. As I was saying, you can see the white pawn is confidently seated on d6. In terms of material, there might actually be an imbalance where I can see black is having 2 rooks, whereas in return white is having a rook and 2 minor pieces. Actually, not even 2 minor pieces, but black is whole piece up, if I'm not wrong, because I can see white has 3 minor pieces whereas black has 2 minor pieces, and then white has 2 rooks. White has a single rook whereas black has 2 rooks. What is not happening to our live feed, my people? We're only seeing half of the board. Hoping it will be corrected in a few. Just good. There it is. Now you can see Mr. Danny trying to help us with setting up the camera. But and the conversation that we were actually just having with Agoda earlier on, and said actually chess has come from far, because I remember just pre-COVID period we didn't have a lot of players playing actively. Oh, someone says Bella is in trouble. Clifford is how is Bella in trouble? I really can't see her game. Is this her game? Maybe not. It looks like I think Clifford is actually more informed than I am. If he knows this is Bella who's playing, then I might want to have some carrot, because I can't really see the players. But all I can say is Clifford isn't it this one? I am not sure. I didn't get to quite see the players that much, but I'm just having a look at the board. And as I am saying, White looks like he's having some very good activity. And I was talking about the imbalance where you can see White is having 3 minor pieces and a rook, whereas Black is having 2 rooks and also 2 minor pieces. Queen sitting comfortably on h4. You can see White's queen is really dormant, just seated on e1, really not having a lot of activity, not controlling the file because it's actually being blocked by its pawn. Black's with bishop. At the same time, White just played bishop to c4, challenging the bishop on b5. Let's see Black's response to that move. Black gladly takes the pawn, the bishop, sorry, on c4, and rook takes on c4 will be played. And after maybe say rook takes on c4, there is also a problem, which is the pawn on b2 is hanging. I think the pawn on b2 is hanging because you're having a bishop on g7. The bishop can just take it, and now Black will have 2 passed pawns, whereas White is having a passed pawn on d6. So I feel like at the end of the day, Black still gets to enjoy her positional advantages in terms of having very good activity. At the same time, the pass pawn the pass pawns that will be created on the queen side will actually be a menace in future. And considering there being the dark squared bishop is really helpful, then automatically I think that the 2 pass pawns that Black is having will outweigh the advantages that the white pawn on d6 is bringing on the table. What do you think, Mr. Victor?
Right. I'm not sure that White should have given up that b2 pawn. I think that was a bit of a mistake. I see the balance of pieces. Is it 2 pieces for a rook?
That's what I was even thinking about, but surprisingly, Black, it has to be only a minor piece for a rook.
Oh my goodness, is this
because Black is having, I think maybe Black just was a whole minor piece up, because now they're having 2, White is having 2 minor pieces and Black is having a single minor piece, but in return Black is having 2 rooks and White is only having a single rook.
But I've seen this actually a trap that they've set, because now they're defending their rook, and be careful, there's this discovery e5 which is coming up, and it's definitely going to happen. So maybe it looked like a mistake on the part of Black to White to sacrifice that b pawn, but in reality there's a nasty trap that starts with the move. Whoa, this is the move e5. You see there's a queen sitting on a4, and e5, that pawn can't be taken because the queen is under attack on h4. So,
and actually now White just went for queen e2.
Queen e2 to defend the rook, because
White
you can't.
went for queen e2.
Queen e2 is doing 2 things. It's attacking the bishop on b2. So it seems as if that was a pawn sacrifice. and it's the next move now. E5 is possible. E5 wasn't possible before,
But
because
now
the queen could
E5
just take the rook.
Correct.
So queen e2 is the move I was thinking about as a possibility. What it does, number one, it defends the rook, so e5 is now possible. Secondly, it attacks this bishop.
Good. Maybe let me just help you guys set up the position so that you can also be able to analyze and see what's happening.
Yep.
Just give me a moment.
We need the monitor here. So you don't need the monitor. You give us a monitor.
You have HDMI to HDMI.
Only one. Doesn't take HBC.
Let me think about it.
Yeah, there's a queen e2.
Are we having a bishop somewhere here? I'm sure there's a rook
Bishop
over here.
e3.
Bishop is on e3, correct?
There is
Now we're having some pawns over here.
I don't think that is fair. I think the pawns are on
I
there.
think
Maybe
like two
defending
files.
each other.
Yes.
And there's a black bishop on
The black bishop is on b2,
B2, yeah.
correct?
Black
And
queen.
black queen on h4.
yes. The king is on d8.
No, the king is actually
Oh, is that one?
on h7, if I'm not wrong. You can just have a quick look. Yeah, the king is on h7, and then we're having some rooks on f8, and also the other rook is defending the pawn chain. And we're also having a knight, a white knight. And
Yeah.
where is the knight? Is
The knight is on
c5?
Yes, that's correct.
I am assuming that's the live position that we're having right now.
That's the position.
That
You have a
is
good
the
memory, boss.
position. Thank you. And now we can just. Whose turn is it to play? It is black's turn to play.
Black to play.
And we can just hit the analysis board.
Then we can change the window on the
And,
other side.
Now you guys are having the live feed of what's happening. Maybe we can just have a quick look at the possible positions that can come from this position. As Mr. Ndani was saying,
Yeah, so the first thing that you notice, this pin was
on E1.
E1. So
Correct.
there's this, I don't know if it's able to draw a line, yes it is. So this pin has just moved to this square. And what it's doing is it's attacking this bishop,
Correct.
and at the same time it's defending this rook.
Correct.
Now why is defending this rook important? Because this rook is indirectly attacking this pin. So now there's this very nice possible move, and what that
E5.
does, it will put this bishop in prison. The bishop will come back,
Yes.
and also solidify this pawn. It's quite something, and I don't know where this bishop is going.
Maybe say C3. Just
C3 is not safe because
working with your pawns, though, that might actually end up just
yeah. So C3. I see there's knight here. For example, I'm not saying this is just one possibility.
yes, correct.
Of course, I'm looking at the possibility of a rook coming in. It will make our life difficult. But that doesn't work because now there's this move.
Correct.
Yeah. And let's say
Rook takes. Really works.
no, rook takes doesn't work.
We say rook takes and then queen takes, and then your bishop has to go all the way back to f6 to defend the pawn, defend the promoting square.
Yeah, promoting square, that's fine. So who's gonna defend this guy?
Now that's the problem. You try and maybe stop the d7 pawn at the cost of now having to
Okay, it's a bit tricky. You can't play like that. So anyway, I'm not thinking critically because of this pawn, and I think this move is possible. But let's see what these guys are going to do. I think we
can just have a quick look at what has just happened on the board. I think we're still having the position where, and Clifford says, what about queen goes all the way to f6? You don't have to move the queen. Okay, let's think about that.
Yeah, actually in this position, queen f6 is probably the best move.
So even instead of having to play bishop, all the way, maybe say to c3 or all the way to
Deal with
g7.
both
You can
threats.
just play
One move.
queen to f6, and actually that's a very good move. The bishop is still doing its work, which is just maybe trying to have some squares here.
Oh, wait. In the goodness of that move,
You get a fork.
let us play this other good move here.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a painful one. And I think you only have one move because you have to keep defending this bishop. You must play here.
Correct.
Then I think
Automatically
this is
just does that. And I think since maybe black was a whole minor piece up, you don't want to give back the piece. After knight takes, rook takes, we are having are we still having equal material now? Yeah, now we are having equal material, but white's pass pawn might be chaotic, and I feel like the a5 and b4 pawn aren't going to stand a chance, since the bishop might even come to b6, defending the promoting square number 1, and also number 2 just attacking the base of the pawn chain. Maybe say if a4 is played, automatically rook takes on b4 is a possibility, and now we are looking at d7 and finally d8 promoting.
So a very funny comment by Clifford Mend. I didn't see this one coming. He said the bishop and John Cena saying, "You can't see me." Nice.
Oh, that was Winnie's game. So remember the game that when you just showed the game, the opponent resigned.
Yes.
It's because the opponent hung a queen.
Yes.
Winnie attacked the opponent's knight, and then the opponent thought maybe I could also attack your bishop. And she played queen d7.
Yes.
Attacking the black squared bishop on b6, on d6. Sorry, and what happened is there was a bishop on h3, just waiting for such a chance.
Yeah, the bishops are very sneaky. That's what sneaky bishop. Be mindful of those guys. And you know, if the bishop couldn't pick, then it looked like if the bishop wasn't there, I think then black was losing. But the bishop, fortunately, was there.
And even queen f3, queen g2 checkmate was also coming. So, well.
So I think we have a move
by. Yes, has a move been played?
No, a move has not been played. But
Not
what has
yet.
happened is that white didn't. Wait, no, a move has not been played. Okay, so Bella is still thinking.
Actually, this is Bella's game, Clifford.
Yeah,
you are
Bella.
correct.
Yeah.
This is Bella's game.
Bella
is playing as black, right?
Yeah, as black. Yes.
Correct.
Very strong player as well.
Maybe you can just rewind to the live positions that you guys can see what you are talking about.
Yeah,
and this is the current position. Clifford said, what about queen f6? Well, queen f6 lands us in trouble after knight d7 is played. The engine suggests the bishop goes all the way back to g7. What do you think about the move, bishop g7?
Well,
Looks like it's deactivating the bishop, but in one way or the other, the bishop will just come back into play.
The thing is, the bishop has to go back, right?
Correct.
We didn't like this move. Okay, but the reason is different. Turns out not what we thought. This doesn't really work. Okay. Now we are following the engine recommendation. It's saying this. Let's bring the rook in to attack. Or this.
I don't think that's a good idea. Why sacrifice a piece?
That doesn't look. Okay, let's just follow natural moves. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at those light squares. Look at those dark squares. This is.
Oh, the bishop is actually.
You really can't move your
strong.
knight away. You cannot try this. The rook, sorry. Let's make a random move. Let's say, let's check this guy. Why not? Checks are good, right?
Sometimes.
And then let's double, just to show you what the problem is. Now look at this move. Check. Where do you go? You have to move into a checkable square. Okay.
And then check.
Check again. Let's come back. Attack this rook.
And now bishop f6 is coming. Correct.
Who are these guys? Who's your neighbor? Choose. Queen rook. Wow.
I think you have to lose the queen, and that's what happens in chess. Just a slight mistake, you can see Bella is winning, but just a small mistake, and the game just flips. And now white is winning.
And
so
she
let's
has
just
played
see
the
what
correct move.
happens.
Bishop g7.
Bishop g7.
And she's played the correct move in this position. And bishop g7 has been played.
Just retreating the bishop.
And just retreating the bishop.
And what do you think about the d6 pawn? Do you think it's going to create some chaos in future? What do you think about the D6?
Well, it's a dangerous pawn. I think Bella has to be careful.
Yes.
That's a dangerous pawn. That's the truth about it. So you can see moves like this can happen.
Correct.
Let's say this happens. There's a move like this that I'm not very comfortable about. Yes, it's a bit tricky.
And actually, even after E5, now bishop.
What happens here? Because I sort of felt that is not possible because of this move. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to be enough for. Yeah, it doesn't seem. And actually, E5 has been played.
E5
So,
is
yeah.
E5 is actually a very good move.
Yeah, I'm
I think now
expecting.
it's just ensuring the bishop never gets to F6. Just trying to also have a control of the promoting the D8 square. Let's see. And now the queen is under attack. So Bella has to figure out the best square for the queen. Surprisingly, H5 forcing white to exchange. If white doesn't exchange, then you get another forcing white to exchange. If white doesn't exchange, then you get another pawn.
Understood. Nice one, Elijah. So then, but this is what looks natural to me. And I think, yes, in this case, then you first defend this pawn here, knocking that bishop off all the way.
Correct. Now is you can't really push the f pawn. I was thinking maybe white, black will try and undermine the pawns, white pawns, by playing f6, but really doesn't work because of simply knight captures on e6,
Yeah.
forking the queen,
This
rook,
move, eh?
and the bishop. Yeah, that move is not playable because of that fork.
Loses a pawn, loses an exchange, and loses the initiative.
Exactly. A pawn, an exchange, and an initiative.
Okay.
Let's see if
And Bella has played the best move in the position. She has played the best Indian move actually.
queen h5.
That's what she has played. This girl is strong.
Correct. And now after the queens are exchanged, black is clearly winning to me.
I think
But-
there's still some complications.
Still,
There is, because you trade the queens. I think that is forced. And then now you have to figure out what you're doing about this bishop. What is that? Do you want to play f4? Now, one more thing about this kind of move is the quality of your pieces. Remember that your pawns at the highways determine the roads, right?
correct.
So, yes, this pawn move defends your pawn on e5, but what's the downside, Elijah?
Just deactivate your bishop. Now
Exactly.
your bishop becomes a tall pawn.
This is one more pawn on the color of your bishop, so it
Correct.
takes away mobility against your bishop. So you don't want to probably play that, though it doesn't really change much according to the evaluation. But maybe then, if you can't do that, what are you doing? There's this move, or you can sacrifice 2 pawns for. Hello, John. Hello, John. Yes. Yes, I am. Are you ready? Six child.
Clifford asks, is the f6 pawn break good? I'm thinking in future maybe it is good, because you really have to prepare for that pawn break, but currently not the best idea, because of simply the knight on c4, the knight on c5 is a very strong knight. The knight on c5 is just targeting that e6 pawn. So once you've played f6, then automatically now the e6 pawn becomes weak. And then initially, maybe say if if queen d8 was played, then automatically knight takes on e6 is a very good fork. And Mr. Ngani just said it stops, number one, your initiative, you lose material, and also you lose an exchange. So you really don't want to play f6. Maybe in future it's a very good move, simply because you're just undermining white's central pawns, and you're weakening the pass pawn, that's the d6 pawn. but currently not really. And we can see that f3 has been played. F3 doesn't look like a very good move because you end up losing a second pawn. Let's see maybe if there is any trick related to it. Bella, sorry about that, it was just Bella went all the way back to g7, and then e5 was played, and queen h5 followed. The opponent decided, you know what, I won't have to capture the queen on h5, so instead the opponent played f3, and now that is actually losing because queen takes on e5 will be soon played by Bella, I presume. Let's see if she plays queen takes, and with the d6 pawn, you blundered to that knight twice. But at least the good thing with this analysis is you're able to even think, predetermine your candidate moves as time goes by. So I'm sure you'll now start getting them correctly in future. We are waiting to see what will happen after f3. Automatically, the best move is queen takes the pawn. This, that. Huh? Bado sasa tunamalizia game ya Bella. Bella taking her time, thinking about, maybe she's trying to figure out, is capturing with the bishop okay or capturing with the queen okay. Let's see, maybe we might even have a look and think at this and see the difference between capturing with the bishop and capturing with the queen. The problem with capturing with the bishop is now your queen might actually, you can't play g4 because g4 just gives us a second pawn. You can't push on f4 simply because now your queen is hanging. What is actually wrong with capturing with the bishop on e4, on e5? I really can't tell the difference. Oh yeah, actually now this fork, but you can't play this fork. That's a mistake. So once the knight comes there, you see if the knight comes here, then bishop, and even you don't have to take the pawn. Rook comes there, adding another attacker to this pawn indirectly, and also it's an attack. So if knight captures, if the knight captures the bishop, then automatically queen takes. Now this pawn becomes a very weak pawn and is going to be captured in the next move. You defend it with the bishop, that's very okay. I can even just continue with my pawn storms. At the end of the day, black is still better in my opinion. And let's see what has been played. Bella actually decides to take the pawn with the bishop, and after rook queen came here, f3 was played, and now bishop takes on e5 has just been played. I think Bella had a look at the position and thought of the problems related to maybe seeing taking it to the queen, and then this bishop really can't come here though. Maybe see knight goes there, fork. Maybe Bella didn't like this, so she decided, you know what, I'll just take with the bishop, because now knight going to d7 really doesn't work. After bishop takes, then knight comes here, as we said, rook attacks the knight. Maybe say if you try and add another defender to the knight, automatically this pawn falls. Now your rook is under attack, your knight is under attack. When the rook goes here, the only defensive square, then automatically queen goes to d5, and now your rook or your knight will soon be lost. But this is a mistake simply because of knight check, and even bishop capturing the pawn can't really be played. This is a very problematic square for black. So again, white is actually using such small weaknesses to ensure such to ensure that black really doesn't have the liberty to do whatever she wants. And so far it's actually working out, but let's see what has happened. Bishop takes on e5 has just been played. And bishop f4 challenging the dark squared bishop has just been played. Not quite the best way to approach such positions where you help your opponent exchange pieces and your opponent is actually material up. But let's see what White's plan is. Aizu charger the laptop? Iko on battery save, energy saving 14%. Sawa, thank you so much. Bishop takes on f4 has been played, and now Bella is just completely, the opponent gave her the chance to simplify the position and Bella said why not, I will just take the bishop on f4, and we are going to see now the difference between having the knight and also having the rook. And you can see clearly that Bella's passed pawns are a bit more dangerous compared to the d6 pawn, because if I was playing as black, maybe say once the pawn was at the verge of being promoted, I could easily just sacrifice a piece for it and try use my two passed pawns to that advantage.
Is that not just a piece?
Pardon?
That's just a piece. Because the rook takes, queen takes on c5.
That's the problem. I didn't even see that actually.
Queen takes, rook takes, queen takes. So this should be resigned.
And you can see this after bishop takes, when rook takes, we are forgetting the knight on c5 is hanging and it comes with a check. And now you're losing also the
pawn.
d6 pawn.
Yes, I think that should be resigned.
That
Really. Any other move after that is
resigned.
probably not. Have we seen
And
resignation?
maybe the opponent has just noticed the mistake.
Yeah, this is when it's good to see the player's reaction. Overloaded pieces by Clifford. Clifford, what's your rating? Because you have you've been mentioning some really good moves. Unless you're using fish brain. You know fish brain in chess. You know the fish brain in chess, Elijah.
I'm assuming that's stockfish.
Of course.
Stockfish.
Stockfish, dreadfish, all the fish brains. But if you're assessing from where you are, Clifford, you're doing a good job.
Correct.
Because that rook was overloaded. It's defending a bishop and defending a knight. And now the time has come when it must choose.
And actually, funny thing is, White is actually the one who gave the option of exchanging by playing bishop f4. And now maybe White just noticed that's a mistake and trying to think of which piece to live without.
Let me not make a joke of it, because I've been in a position where you are losing. It dawns on you that it's not so good. It can be painful, literally. Literally, you can feel physical pain.
Exactly.
Physical pain out of these kind of situations.
But Panchol said, "Oh, you're 1620? You played with me in Kiambu Open. When was that?"
Oh, this is Clifford Manda. Nice, good job. Kiambu Open was 20. Did you play in this Kiambu Open?
The Rainbow Resort one. I did play.
You played?
Yes, I was.
Then how are you forgetting that you played
I'm
against?
trying to remember. Is it the same Clifford? Clifford I know. Clifford Ombiro.
It was a forgettable game.
No.
Elijah, it was a forgettable game.
Not really.
You
I think,
really must have suffered.
actually, the funny thing is we were all very sleepy, and then Clifford ended up blundering an exchange, and then he just resigned.
Clifford, is
If
that
that's
correct?
I think that's the game, Clifford, right? That has to be the game.
Good.
Oh, but yeah, good.
Because
stuff.
we knew that this is not just as a spectator randomly commenting. Yeah, so maybe knight d7 is the best try, but it doesn't work because the rook comes to attack the knight.
Not really. Actually, the trick is
doesn't.
knight
Oh.
f6 check.
Knight f6 check is being
Yeah,
threatened.
white
Yeah.
trying to be a bit tricky with the.
That's a tricky one. The viewers can't see. The viewers can't see the move.
After that,
The viewers can't see.
sorry, just a moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now knight d7.
Has
Has
just
been-
been played.
yeah,
Actually,
thinking about
there's
that.
a threat. Oh my goodness.
And now you're actually attacking the knight.
Now you're attacking what?
Sorry, the knight is attacking the rook, and also threatening the. What can you really do?
Save your bishop. Bishop g5.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because once the bishop just goes to g5, then it'll be a minor piece. Sorry, 2 minor pieces for a rook. I think that's a fair exchange
Yeah.
for Bella. But now I'm thinking of once bishop g5 has been played. What about? Oh, you can play these Hail Mary moves, something like f4, maybe trying to ensure this bishop doesn't stay in this diagonal because your queen is hanging.
Yep.
So you're not having that as an option.
Is that the only move, by the way? Let's see. You also have this very
A queen
interesting.
move.
Does that work? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're having those problems now.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And you have to choose once again. Yeah.
And black doesn't have like an in-between move because it's automatically a check, so queen has to take the knight.
So I think
Also
here,
a tricky move. We thought the game is lost,
Over.
but white is really putting up a fight.
yeah, wait as
And I think Bella has just played queen g5. I can see queen
Now,
g5 has been played.
Yeah, that takes away the queen g5 has
Actually, I think it gives black some solid chances still, because you can't really kick away the queen from that square.
well, what about h4?
h4 doesn't really do a thing. h4 just take
What do you and then now queen e4?
queen e4,
Yeah.
and now I'm having this check.
Oh, there's that threat. Okay, fine. Okay, still I go up.
Now I use it as a
All right, there's that
yeah.
threat,
King comes here, and I still like I feel like now
Yeah.
this is okay with
Okay,
me,
this is over.
and now even the rook can also escape
Okay.
because of the
Fine,
checks.
fine. Yeah. I forgot that I thought black is just defending. They can turn defense into attack, and that marks the end of it. All right.
So white thinking about capturing the rook.
What's the time situation?
White is having 36 minutes on the clock, and Bella is having 20 minutes on the clock.
Have they had the additional time?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I think they're on move. They're at move 30 something, and knight takes on f8 check has been played. Knight takes on f8 check
We're
has been
expecting
played.
rook takes, of course.
Yes,
Rook takes is gonna follow. Actually, Claude is
automatically.
ready.
And now what's the situation?
The
the
d6
board.
pawn is hanging.
Yes,
You have
and
some seriously weak squares on your seriously weak dark squares.
actually even the bishop alone is better than this rook. In my
Not quite,
opinion.
not quite, but The bishop is quite strong.
How can white protect the pawn? Maybe see rook come.
Pushing doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't really push.
You can try, and maybe you should try.
How does it solve your problem?
Hey,
Because I'm thinking of
rook d8.
rook d8.
Just go ahead and play it between the board.
Rook d8.
Now it has to be defended. How do you defend?
You need to use either a rook or a queen.
Yeah, so let's do rook.
Rook comes here.
Queen e7. No, queen e7 is not possible right away.
Actually, this is a problem. There's this check.
What is that? Oh my goodness.
Bishop check, and you're losing your rook. So you have to use your queen. And maybe say you're having two options. That's queen d3 or queen d1.
Okay, so queen d3 does stop. It doesn't stop anything. Yeah, it's lost.
But actually, the problem, I think there's a difference between queen d3 and queen d1. If you play queen d1, then automatically have this move. And now if actually this is hanging, so you can't even move that. My bad. But I was thinking of if
I see your point.
correct.
Because now queen e1 allows bishop
e3 check.
even without the queen defending. Okay.
Yeah, let's
What have
see.
they played?
This is the let me just go back to the mainland. Oh, this isn't what has been played.
So that was our bad idea, is it?
Has to be.
Yeah.
We are having so many variations right now, so I just need to look for what has been played. Queen f6 wasn't played.
What was played was bishop e7. So just go back.
Bishop. Let me
You
just
can
look
actually
for
play it manually. Yeah, this is it. Back now from here.
correct here now.
This has been played. And after
Then-
that, what move?
Now here is where we are at.
And actually, d7 has been
d7
played.
and then
And I'm expecting rook
d8.
d8. It's on the board.
Rook d8 has also been played. Now let's look at all the options. As you've said, rook d4 is a mistake because of bishop e3 check. The queen has two options of defending the pawn, which is queen d1 or queen d3. I think queen d3 should be played. It gives white more flexibility, and also the queen still has more activity, stopping any further pawn advancement along the third rank. As you can see, black is having very good pass pawns on b4 and a5.
But at queen d3, then just queen e5. Queen
So
d3.
after queen d3,
Queen e5.
queen e5, and what's the you're threatening an exchange of the queens?
Yep. That's well. I'm threatening your queen. I want to play queen e1 check. You
And
drop
then
the
the queen
queen.
has to come, and then
queen
bishop
is-
check,
No,
or even bishop here check.
actually, this other check is better. You're right. Bishop e3 is better.
Bishop e3 check,
Yeah, bishop e3 check.
because
So
you
queen-
don't even have to lose the
Yeah, queen
bishop.
down. Yeah.
Oh yes, true.
So let's wait for white to play. Let's check if the white has played. Not yet.
White has not yet played. Maybe just take you back to the position. This is the current position. Rook d8 has just been played.
So as in this position of queen d3, the natural instincts for is to come back this way. This is like a very natural instinct. So you try and make this work, but this is a more active move
It is.
that does a lot more. Right?
Yes.
There's even this possibility, this threat. You don't play here, but I don't like it as much. It's probably still good, probably winning, still.
Also has the same
Same threats.
queen e1 ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, and very soon you may have to give out your rook for that bishop. You're right. So the instances where that bishop may in fact be stronger.
Between queen g3, queen e5. Would you prefer queen g3 or would you prefer
Queen e5.
Queen e5. Queen e5 is a
Yeah, the queen is
more
central.
central move.
The
for
threats
queen.
remain. The options are many. I can come back and, do something here. I can exchange the queens in
Yeah,
one move. I can check you here. This queen is very flexible in that position.
exactly.
So queen e5 is my move. Centralize.
Let's see.
Queen d3 has been played.
Queen d3.
It's on the board.
And now let's see if queen e5 will be played.
I suspect you're going to see queen g3.
Queen g3.
More reasonable, but again, over time I suspect. Let's start with the engine. Let's see what it suggests. What's the engine suggestion? Queen E5.
Obviously, queen e5.
So as you get more experience in chess, then you begin to understand why that is so much better. But I'm sure that even if you had to play, this is a -8 position, by the way. But queen, let's play queen g3. Let's see how it evaluates it.
Pardon?
Queen g3. Queen g3 now.
Queen g3.
It's a -7. So basically, very fine difference. And the reason, of course, is what I said. The king can go to f1. Still completely losing. Because in this position, black is just up a piece.
Actually, even bishop d6 is very annoying.
Not just annoying. Try this.
Just take.
Yeah. And you can resign. Right?
And even actually now bishop ideas of bishop to c5 can also come into play.
Well, another move has been played that you're not thought about. I don't know what the thought process for it is, but guess what move has been played, Elijah? Let me tell you what it's a pin.
It has to be queen b5.
Queen b5.
Queen b5. What purpose does it serve? Oh, now planning to just wait. Can you capture here? Might lead into a draw. So you don't want to do it.
That's the plan. It's not.
Oh, actually, no, yeah. It's a very good.
Pick.
It's a free pawn.
So you have to defend it, but now you can't. He's saying you can't take my bishop
because of the
because
queen.
I take your queen.
Yes.
But the engine for a moment thought, okay, maybe this is the best move. Believe it or not, that maybe the engine thought that maybe this is not as bad. For a moment, I see it flicker. Okay, this checkmate in a few, but obviously. The reason why this move forces a trade of queens, because you must play here.
Yeah, trying to defend your pawn.
Then rich man rules.
Let's take. Then now look at all those pawns.
How do you stop these pawns?
And
by the way, if we said let's just make a couple of random moves, let's just pretend this rook is. Let's move this guy here and bring this guy here. Now, these two pawns like this are stronger than this rook.
Exactly. True.
So this would be over even without this rook, without this guy. So this is how over it is. Let's see. We can go back to the main board.
All the possible solutions for white, but it seems like white is just doomed.
And white has played queen e4. After the can go forward.
Maybe just try and go just to them.
Let's see.
This is a completely different line.
That wasn't played.
It wasn't taken.
This
f3 was played. Bishop took the pawn, and then knight went there.
No,
actually the pawn push was played.
push.
No, bishop f4 was the mistake that was played. Takes, and then now knight went. Then queen g5. Knight takes, rook takes, and then rook to d8. Now queen b3 has been played, and queen b5.
Yeah, and now we have this move.
Oh, that's what has been played.
Yep. That's the position on the board. Oh, there's a bishop check has been played. Bishop to e3 check.
Oh, and you can't do anything about it.
You can pick it.
You pick it.
You lose your rook.
You lose your rook.
But you can not. I mean, there are many ways to lose.
Picking the bishop is one of them.
And there's a very serious threat here actually. The king has to go to the corner. Because if you come to f1, sorry. If you come to f1, now that rook is pinned. So I can let you have my bishop, play f1.
King F1.
King F1. I take the rook. Take my bishop. And then now, oh no, you can't take the bishop even still.
Correct.
Goodness gracious. Oh,
It's just doomed.
yeah. Okay. So that's gonna happen
Now
anyway.
it's even a negative 33. Anyway,
So that's what's gonna happen. The next move is just six. Wherever this king goes,
yeah, I think even King H2 can also be met by Queen B8 Jack. Or even you don't have to move that. Why don't we just simply take the pawn?
take the pawn. That's it. So we are talking about 3 pawns and a piece up.
Yeah, this is horrible for white.
Yeah. So Bella has been playing very strong chess lately. I remember when my daughter started playing chess, one of the names was Bella Nashipai. And her chess is very controlled. Do you know she's also a champion skater?
Bella, that
She
is.
is a champion style skater.
Oh, I only thought it was Christian. I know Christian.
Yes.
And
You know
the brother.
Christian, yes, but then Bella
Is also a skater.
And for her, it's style. Style skating is different from speed skating. Those people who can do amazing things and tricks. She's done more skating, more awards than chess. But of
Now
course,
she's-
she's back to chess now.
She's leveling them, all the awards with the chess awards now. Oh, that's good.
Down to 17 minutes, but there's a 30-second increment. Bella picks a pawn.
Correct.
That's what we expected.
After check, where did
King
the
H1.
King H1 was played? Now Rook takes on D7, and now even White's only hope of trying maybe to promote the pawn.
It's gone.
Uh,
Yeah. I think here the best move is to resign, but resignation is not an easy one. That's the position on the board right now. And yeah.
Clifford said, I bet Bella finds Queen E5. Well, she even found a better move, which was Queen
Forcing. It
C5.
was forcing a queen trade actually. That was the best plan was queen trade. But now that dangerous pawn on D7 is gone.
What has been played?
Queen C2, but now Queen D2 is definitely, Rook D2 is definitely the move, I think. Rook D2.
So Queen C2 and now Rook D2. Just
D2 attacking the Queen.
what can you do?
And let's say wherever you play, my plan is Queen G5. Elijah, that's my plan. I want to bring the Queen, to G5.
You want to bring your Queen to G5? I'm even thinking of any possible bishop move, because I'm sure the Rook and the bishop combined might have some chaos.
That's why
Might create some chaos here.
invite everyone to the party.
Correct.
That's the principle of chess. Bring everyone to the party. So actually, there is that, and there's also Queen D5. Those are two possible threats.
Yeah, Queen D5 also looks very strong.
Yep.
So Queen D5 and Queen G5.
Yeah,
And what's the continuation after Queen G5 maybe? If you will
Including
just kindly have a
checkmate.
look at it. So Queen has to go.
Let's say Queen. Let's say E4, probably the only move.
Queen E4.
Let's
then Queen
this move. Yeah. Yeah.
G5.
You can decide to trade. I'm happy to do that. Because there's a checkmate threat, by the way.
Exactly. What can you do? Actually, you're forced to. You have
If
no
you
other
play
option.
G4, I show you. I just play King H4, Queen H4. Yeah.
Queen
That's it.
H4, and now
Take my bishop,
this
please.
is a problem.
I take my bishop if you want.
You take the bishop, then it's
Best
mate.
move.
Check.
Check.
Move.
Mate.
Mate.
Yeah. So go back. So yeah.
What if the queen has to come here? And
I know.
obviously,
You know what? I'll just take it.
you won't even check.
No. I'll just take it. I'll just take
Simplifying
it.
your position. Pawns capture towards the center.
Okay, then I play B3. Stop me if you can.
So many problems that are go.
What do you play?
Rook comes.
B2.
I'll just push. You can't even come here.
Then bring the other pawn.
Goodness gracious.
End of story. End of story.
Yeah, that's
E man
lost.
That is clearly.
But Bella is still thinking. She has to find rook to d2.
Let's see if rook d2 will be played.
I think she will play it.
At least now you guys get to also know some fun
So
facts.
it's
Bella is
very
a
easy for
champion
us to make
skater.
these moves, Elijah, because you're not playing.
Exactly.
You don't have to, you can say, oh, that was a mistake, and go back to the next move. They don't have that option.
You make a move, you stick with it.
You live with it. Ooh, I'm seeing another recommendation by the engine actually in that position, saying play b3.
B3 is just a simple move.
Yep. Simple move. Push the pawn. Push the pawn.
Why are we pushing the pawn though? Or you're still having the all these threats. B3.
Then
If the
push
queen
again.
comes, I'll just push it again. The queen, because even if the queen comes here, I'll just get to
Just need
promote.
queen here.
Just promote into a queen. Then queen takes, and this is just completely lost.
Oh, and she's played it actually. Bella has played b3. B3 is on the board.
B3.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
the best move. Now,
That how she's clearly winning. I'm sure in the next 9-10 moves, the engine is telling us it's mate in 9. Let's see how the game unfolds.
yeah, b3. So this has been designed for a long time.
This is
But
where the
I
opponent
remember I
kicks
was
your
playing
hand.
some very strong lady from East Asia. I can't remember her name in one of Kim Barry's tournaments. And she crushed everybody. So I was playing in the last round. And we played Sicilian Accelerated Dragon. And after a very tough fight, now I was winning completely. Then there's still a little bit of you have to be careful in the late middle game. I was careful enough. So now I was completely winning. Like I was winning on all fronts. Every single move wins. Then I went to autopilot, played. Then she's extended the hand, accept the resignation. Then she says, "No, I'm not resigning. It's a draw." And it was a draw. It's a stalemate. And so maybe that's the only thing that now White is fighting for now. Because other than that, this is lost. Ooh, there's one more trick. After queen c3, you play b2. I'm expecting b2.
Maybe let's just have a quick look at it.
Yeah. Then
So after queen c3, b2 has to be
C3,
played.
b2 has to be played. b2. Then after b2, now rook c8.
Rook c8.
Rook c8.
You are threatening mate, but I promote with a tempo. I come with check.
Yes, just come with check. Of course, you're being checkmated, but let's promote to a knight.
Okay.
Humorous. Promote to a knight.
We'll stick
fun.
that back.
But the
And
knight
let's
still wins, right?
See, and nope.
Promote to a knight. Oopsie daisy.
Pop, 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 pop.
Exactly. So that's the
That's
one
how
threat
you
you have to be
easily
careful about.
lose.
But actually, they've started with rook c8. That's the first move they've played. They've played it actually. Exactly what you're saying has been played.
Okay, let me just go back to.
No, it's not them. It's us. I'm looking at our board.
Oh,
Oh, but queen c3 has been played.
we can see queen c3 was played, and then maybe say I'm expecting b2
b2, yes.
because you just have a tempo, and then you also have after maybe say you promoted queen b1 check, pawn to b1 into a queen check. You're also having bishop d4.
b2 is on the board.
b2 is on the board. Good. And now I think rook c8 will easily be met by queen check. Once the king goes to h2, then you have this simple idea. And now
Is
you're
that really
disconnecting.
Should you not check? Actually,
Check.
check with the.
Oh, actually, that's even mating in 2 moves. Check. The pawn has to come, and then that is mate.
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see how Bella plays it.
and the rook is on c8, by the way. It's been played.
Rook c8 has just been played.
Yeah, rook c8 has been played.
Then the game is
Yeah, let me go catch the players at the end.
and now we are having bishop check has been played. Bishop check. Sorry, not even just wait, what? The king is, remember, the king is on h2, so bishop comes with a check, and the king has to go all the way back, then automatically, as we've said, we are having our mate into coming soon. Now our checkmate is just coming, and Bella has actually won after check, and the queen went to h2 check. But remember, Bella had already promoted, and the opponent has just resigned. Bella has won her game. Beautiful, beautiful play from Bella. Congratulations, Bella. Beautiful play. FM Steve Uma just noting the scores, and actually most of the games have already been finished, having some very few games still taking place. But congratulations to Bella. Well played. You can see them arranging the pieces. I don't know why, but whenever you're looking at top games, after the game is just done, you'll see always the grandmasters are always analyzing the game. But I was expecting Bella to also do the same, maybe just try and tell the opponent of the small mistakes that she's made. And who's raising up her hand? We're also having another game that has just been completed. You can see very few players are still playing, including Winnie. Is that Winnie? And that game has just been completed. That is the under 15 girls. Clifford says, great comment. Hello. Hey coach, mambo? Poa, uko na kina Mali saizi eh? Mko wapi? Okay, sawa. Hadi naona niko karibu kumaliza commentary, and then I'll just come basi hizo sides. She won her game? And Zeki? Okay, good, thanks. Sorry about that. As Clifford says, great commentary. Thank you, Clifford. By the way, if you're in Mombasa, just come holla, come say hi. Ukuje utusaidie na this commentary. But thank you so much for following the commentary. I think since it started, the comment section is just full of your chats. Thank you so much, Clifford. Thank you for your support. Looking forward to meeting you again and again. Ulisema now I'm trying to adapt you in classical and blitz. Just doing my thing. You can see the hall is almost empty. Most of the games are just winding up. You can see we have very few games, like I think a maximum of 4 or 5 games still going on. Wow, this is an interesting time control. I can see the white is having 12 minutes on the clock, and the time is still elapsing. That has to be Yvonne. That has to be Yvonne. I think she's one of the players who really take her time. Has to be Yvonne, if I'm not wrong. Yvonne Washer, that is, for those who are wondering who Yvonne is. And her opponent is having a minute and 33, an hour and 33 minutes, sorry. It's like the opponent was just blitzing all along. And they're in the end game. Yvonne taking her time. You can see this is a king and pawn end game. Yvonne having 4 pawns on the queen side. And also I can see, is that rook in play? Maybe not. It's a 5 versus 5. Oh, this has to be a very interesting game. I'm assuming the last move to be played was either b5 in that position, because you can see Yvonne has the option of taking the pawn on b5, but simply taking the pawn on b5 just gets the opponent an easy draw. Some breakthrough ideas such as pawn to d5 can't really be played. Actually, it can be played. I think b5 can be played. Another question is, can it? No, it really can't be played. Maybe I'll just try set up the position, then we can go through it. Let me just have a quick look at the position and see what you're having. So we're having this. Sorry about that. Hello? 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 Sorry, I'm really sorry about that. As I was saying, I'm just trying to set up a position so that we can even try and figure out what is happening in this position. But it is a very interesting endgame. Yvonne went for pawn takes on b5. Hello? 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 Yes? Pardon? Hello? Zeki anatafuta, mwambie place yenye nafanya commentary kwa hizi top boards hapo hivyo, niko hapo hivyo tu. Sawa sawa, thanks. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to set up the position. This is the position that we'll be having, and I'll just be sharing the position in a few. And the kings are here. And as you guys can see, this was the position a few minutes ago, and Yvonne went for pawn takes, b4 was played by Yvonne, and finally the opponent has just played king h6. In my opinion, the game is kind of drawn. Oh, maybe not. Oh my god. King h6 is surprisingly a mistake. Let's see if Yvonne spots the mistake. King h6 has been played, and that's actually a mistake from the opponent, because now d5 is just straight away winning for white. Mr. Victor, I'm assuming you're an endgames expert. In this position, black has just played king h6 out of maybe say better king moves. And do you think white is clearly winning now?
It looks dangerous, and I think I like the move you are suggesting. So the first thing that you don't think about is whether there is any, and d5 is being played by the way. I think d5 has been
If
played.
d5 has been there, then
Let's see.
that has to be.
D5 has been played.
I think now black has to resign.
That's very painful. That's painful.
d5 is completely winning for white. The problem with the pawn takes is should I can just push the pawn.
Pushing, I'll catch it.
First I just take this pawn, and if you try push this, I'll just come get it.
So you're not pushing, definitely. But either way, if you're not pushing, then what I'm going to do is
I'll push it.
yeah.
The game looks kinda drawn at a glance,
No,
but
no, it's lost.
this pawn is just lost. Wow. And that's how bad the end game is.
There's no
Now initially this oh sorry. This was the position. This was the position just when we had a look at it. And Yvonne went for
Yes.
c takes on b5, pawn takes, and then now Yvonne finally played b4, I think placing the opponent in zugzwang, because if the king goes to maybe say something like f7 or g7, then king just comes to g5, takes the pawn, comes back to defend this. Now I'm having this passed pawn once the black king.
Yeah, so wow, that's a nice. So the position is like, it's not like black missed something. Very
Yes.
nice move. Very nice.
b4 just
Good
placed
job.
black in zugzwang. Good job, Yvonne. I think it's Yvonne who's playing against the opponent for d takes. We can just have a look at who Yvonne is playing against. d5,
Yvonne is playing under 15 or under.
she has to be playing in the under 17. Or maybe even in the under 15, you can just confirm.
The reason why we are checking under, because she's by age she'll be playing under 15, but you're allowed to play any other category.
Correct.
No, she's playing under 15.
Under 15? Which board was she playing in? Under 15 girls, Yvonne Moishe. She's having the white pieces, so she's playing.
On board 8, she's playing Nicole Jaka.
Also a Kenyan? Okay.
Yeah, so let's see how this has gone. And the phone pick has happened.
Yvonne just taking a time. And as I was saying, I just noticed something really cool about, okay, not really cool, but really fascinating about the time control. And you can see Yvonne has 7 minutes on the clock, whereas the opponent has an hour and 33 minutes.
Yeah, so that's what it takes to. Yeah, well, let's just go through this again. Queen takes f5, is that winning?
Sorry about that. Queen takes, king takes on,
King takes on f5,
I think that's clearly winning.
queen takes f5. So what are the options here? Either you start
black.
bringing your king back, which probably is what you have to do. Because if you push the pawn, I just take that pawn and you're lost. So let's dispense with the. You can't try and win. Because I'll come here. Even if you pick, just take it back. And now if you come close, I mean that's it.
I can actually, well, can I even play something like maybe say king d4 instead of
Why?
king all the way to e4, because I'm trying to give myself options of, say if black tries and gets this side of the board, my king has just an easy move. King c5 captures the pawn, and now I get the b5.
Yeah, but you see,
For the first one.
the only reason why that work is because of your e pawn,
Correct.
not because of your this pawn.
The b.
Because if you look at what happens, you're giving this opportunity, for example.
No, now it's just king d5 has to be played.
Of course, now you probably play. You have to take
You have to play king d5 first.
king d5, yeah.
are getting the slight opposition. Maybe say if they come here, you
So
clearly
the
get
reason
a
why it
high.
doesn't work is because of this guy, not
Yes,
this other guy.
correct.
So I don't like giving the opponent options. So this is the move
So
I
you
do
just
for me.
come there.
So you don't have this option. You have to go back. Sorry, you have to go back here. And in fact, instead of coming for this pawn, then I come here.
You can see I'm joined here with
there's
the
a
one and
very
only
nice young lady here.
Mali. Mali, do you want to say hi to the viewers?
No, they can't see you.
But you can always say hi to them. Tell them hi, viewers.
You're joined by Mali Mugo, one of the strongest players in the under-9 girls category. Hi Mali, how are you?
I'm good.
How did the game go?
Good.
Good, you won?
Yeah.
Who are you playing against?
Amanda.
Amanda. I think Amanda from Membly.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Played before.
Have you played her?
No.
First time. How was the game? Was it tough? Was it straightforward?
It was easy.
It was easy for you.
Because I said the game was finished in a few minutes. Are you playing in this big room?
I don't know.
She was playing on the other side where I think here they're only having under 9 board ones. She was playing in Bonturat as white. She has a brother called Zeki, also fighting his way in the under 13 open, right? Just won his second game. So good stuff. You also want to form your Howie and Zuri duet, huh? And we can see
Yeah, so something happened.
D4 has been played. Is the game now drawn? Let's see what happened. Now actually the game is drawn.
Something Yvonne must have done that I didn't go right.
Who are these people?
We're looking at Yvonne's game. Mali is wondering who you're talking about. It's Yvonne playing against a Kenyan call. Let me just confirm the
no,
name.
this is drawn.
Called Nicole. She's playing against Nicole, and we're just trying to figure out how Yvonne could have won the game, but now the game is drawn.
It doesn't make sense that they've got into a drawn position actually.
I'm also trying to figure out what exactly did Yvonne do to get into such a position. So she was clearly winning.
She found all the good moves. Very nice professional moves.
This is
Oh,
a
here.
PPG.
No, that's not a DGT, but we have a camera in there helping us with the showing us the live footage.
So actually she played correctly, to be honest. She played correctly. And then now, okay,
But
let's go back to the board.
she still is winning.
Is she?
I think she still is winning because of the beep on. After, maybe we can just go back to the board. What happened here?
So here,
I think
king,
the pawn push was made.
This is what happened. So this,
King took,
then king here. Then this.
then the pawn push. Okay,
then that.
then now I think King E4 has been played.
King e4. And then now let's have king f.
Now the idea is after King F6, I just take here. You take here. I'm winning. I just come here.
Oh yeah, that works. Okay, let me go towards the king.
If you go towards this other side or whichever side, maybe do you start with King D7
No,
or
no,
going
that's
towards the
what
other
you
pawn? I
So just count, just count Elijah.
Now we're having one,
One.
two. Sorry, we're having 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to promotion. Whereas
This,
the
what you
king
mean is,
didn't.
what I mean by counting is, we need to move the king out of the way, then queen. So we're gonna start by, that is move number 1, right? Then we have move number 2, move number 3, move number 4, move number 5. So actually, this is
Yes,
a really
we
bad
are.
place to move the king
What?
because it's coming to this diagonal.
And they might promote with check.
They'll move to check. So this other way, but whether it's 5 moves, this guy needs.
1,
We need 1,
2,
2. Again, bad
Three.
place to switch. Come out. Let's come here. 3. Then we have
4, 5. So by the time White is promoting, then the pawn wouldn't have gotten to the second rank,
No, it wouldn't.
and that means White is still winning.
Okay, so let's. Very interesting. Hi, Elsie. How are you? How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Come and talk to your people on the stream.
Hi.
It's a big event, my friend.
That's Mama Elsie Kamoni, Africa under 7 girls champion 2019. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, the mother of champions. Yeah, so actually, Elijah, what you said is happening exactly in the board.
Correct. So now we've seen king to c5 has been played, and then
Why does it
king
look
f.
like
No, it's still
is it the
isn't.
exact same?
It is
It looks like black has gotten a move somewhere.
not really. Still the same thing. But let's just rewind it. King goes there, and then king comes here. This is the exact position that is still having,
Right.
right? And after king takes on
So 5
b5,
moves, 6 moves.
then comes here. Wait, actually, I think the 5th move will be the pawn coming to.
Like the pawn can't go to h2. There's a queen sitting on b.
Yeah, so even if the 5th move is bringing the pawn to h2 automatically, queen will just be able to take that.
They're gonna lose by 1 tempo, really.
Yeah. You can imagine in chess, only a single move dictates the score. And now we can see king has gone all the way to a5.
Oh, I'm hearing this gentleman, Ricky Sang.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Ricky, how are you? Saying the sound is very clear. Thank you for that. Big improvement in the sound.
And now they are just trying to analyze the game. I think the opponent,
Documentation, I think, writing down the moves.
yes, just confirming it. But I can see the clock is paused.
The clock cannot be paused for that, though. People, they call the arbiter. That's how it should happen.
Maybe the game, maybe the opponent has just resigned. So they're trying to figure out what happened exactly. Yeah, just giving.
No, actually, a controversy. I feel like I should go and get in the sound there. Let's go and get in the sound.
Yeah, we can do that.
No, so, good.
Was wondering what has.
I'm
just
very
happened,
quickly
and
that
I
it has
think the game is still going on.
Omar just trying to find out what was the controversy in the board. You're following that board live, and we saw you addressing a concern. What was the concern?
It was just a small concern about a player thought that the other player had made an illegal move.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's been resolved?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. There you hear it from Steve. There was a thought of an illegal move. It has been addressed. So the
Who
game's
has made the
continue.
illegal move?
I think one player thought somebody else played an illegal move. And this is what I thought about. See, the queen.
The queen comes with actually the tempo. Now that's why what you're talking about, the king being on g3 as a very bad square for the king, because simply Yvonne just promoted queen to a queen on b1 coming
Now.
with check.
This is where it becomes interesting. Because if this pawn gets to h2,
Then it's a
Simple.
draw. And let's have a look at this game. Let me let's. The pawn was pushed. King came here. Pawn pushed. Pawn. Sorry. b7 there, and then queen check, and now king g2 has been played. Let's see what happens.
let me make a small adjustment on the camera.
Yes, you can.
No.
But you can see it's still white is better simply because of this checking maneuvers. Queen comes here, check. Maybe say king has to go up or king goes down, and then the queen starts getting closer to the king through checks. And finally, once the king has just been cornered, you can always get this pawn. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So queen check, maybe say the king goes down, queen comes check, the king always has to stick around the pawn. Queen comes here, check, the king goes down. Queen comes here, check, the king goes up. Queen comes here, check, the king goes here, check, the king goes here, check, the king comes here, check, maybe say check, the king comes here, and you can even start bringing a king, because if this king comes here, which is the first move, then the queen gets to h1 and the pawn cannot be promoted. So by having such a sequence of moves, automatically the pawn really can't be promoted as long as white just notices the queen zigzagging kind of checking patterns, and finally the queen will be able to land to h1.
Isaiah, do you know the winning technique here?
As I was trying to tell the viewers, the best option was, let me just rewind it. Once we had promoted is after the king comes here, I will just check. King goes here, I'll just bring my queen closer to the king through such checks. I don't know if that's the plan. Check. Comes here, check. Goes here, comes here, check. I don't know if I can be able to get a checkmate, but my main aim is to get the queen to h1 so that my king will always come.
I'm always coming down. How do you do now?
I check you here. I check you. But now you've just locked your king, so I can always bring my king. Pawn push. Wait, what?
Draw.
Draw. Now it's a draw. Wait, what?
So, yeah, so now this is what is called endgame technique. Either you know it or you don't. And this is what I'm saying is by tempo, and the tempo is to move the pawn to, because if
h2.
If at any point, let's say in this position, this is where this is queening. Let's start by, let's say a move like this. This is a drawn position.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's drawn because normally what you want to do is to say come here, check. Let's say the king moves here, and normally you play to a place where you're attacking both the king and the pawn, right? Then you can move your king closer. But here, there's no escape.
Exactly.
Because it's a stalemate. The king is trapped.
Yes.
So this becomes a drawn position. The reason why this is now not drawn is because after this, you can start your ladder checks. Where do you play? Choose a move.
Maybe say king h1.
Actually, I like what you played. I like the moves you played. Because this brings the king very close. Okay. So
Maybe
up to here.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
Up to this part.
Oh, I'm looking at that. This. No. What am I thinking of?
Okay, so already this is very bad for black. You can just play here.
And yeah, they have to move away the queen.
Yeah,
the king, sorry, and you're getting that.
And you take this pawn.
Correct. Now this is clearly winning.
Okay, so that's an even easier approach. But let me take the standard approach. So I'll check from the other side, which is basically check. Let's say you play this move. I'm gonna check you. Sorry. No.
Actually, I think that's what Yvonne played. Queen g8 check.
Then that is queen g8, yes. And you want to just play this move. This is no need to come out towards the open, right? Yeah. So check you again. Where do you play?
Maybe say king g1.
This is the
my
move,
options
yes.
open. Then now king back to h1.
Oh, this is not ideal. Okay, just do this.
Maybe now king g2.
I don't want you to move the pawn up one step.
Yeah. And king back to g1 now. g1. I won't even play h1.
g1. Okay, g1.
g1 gives me better chances.
I don't think, because what you're trying to do is convince your opponent to bring the king closer.
Yes.
Then you just want a move, right? Let's play here.
Then.
So eventually we transpose into what you said anyway.
Yes.
I'm trying to find a way to sort of not have. Yes, I think let's play here. This is a good example. Okay. So normally you play here.
Wins.
And this is different from when the pawn is here, because now the king has to move down.
Yes.
And you lose the pawn.
Correct.
It's not as dramatic as I wanted it to be. I don't have a mouse to also. It's a bit easier than. Let's see.
You can see it's actually a very delicate position. Just one mistake by Yvonne leads the game to being drawn. But you can see there's a checkmate that just taking place.
She checkmated. How did
I can see the pawn was pushed to h2, but maybe
she missed a tactic.
What happened?
Let's see. I'm trying to follow it.
because I remember the last time I checked, we had seen queen g8 on the board.
King f2.
King f2. After that is after king g8.
Yeah, king f2, and then queen to h7.
Queen to h7.
And that's why h8 was best. King to g2.
King to g2.
G6.
G6.
And then king to h1.
King to h1.
I'm sure Yvonne knows this draw. So she played. Oh,
Queen
five. Nice.
She's actually very clever.
Nice
She knows
move.
her queen maneuver.
Nice move. Nice move. And the opponent didn't see it actually.
And now she's just resigned. Oh, sorry guys.
So yeah,
This
explain
is
what
what
happened.
we were
Yeah.
talking about. Maybe you guys were floating, but this is what has just happened. Yvonne went to queen g8, then after king f2, queen h7 was played, then king g2 was played, then queen g6 was played, and once the opponent went to king h1 looking for the draw, Yvonne found a very good
Which
queen
allows the
f5.
draw.
Now you can push the pawn if you want
Yeah,
to.
push the pawn into a check.
Push the pawn and now you just easily lose.
Queen.
Check and mate. That is what happened. Good play, good endgame play by Yvonne.
Let
I
me
see
just
now
check if you have,
Dvoretsky's endgame manual is paying off.
whose manual.
Dvoretsky's endgame manual.
Have you looked
the
at it? Have
endgame
you- have you
manual. I
even seen the
have
cover?
the queue. I have the book. I think all the chess players should have that book.
Have you read it? I'm scared, man. You're scared.
There's a difference between having it and reading it. Maybe if you could just kindly have Hello Yvonne. Hi, how are you? We're actually just looking at your game. Beautiful, beautiful queen maneuver at the end. Queen f5 is actually a very hard move to spot. How was your game?
I honestly feel bad for my opponent.
Why do you feel bad for your opponent?
Because
Actually, the game looked like it was kind of drawn at some point.
I know.
But well played. You outplayed your opponent just right from you having the pawn. I remember we started looking at your game at this point. Maybe if you just kind of show the viewers. This is where we started looking at Yvonne's game. And you went for b5. C takes on b5. At this point, did you think the game was drawn, or were you already sure that you won the game? It was just a matter of time.
I was like, let's just go how it goes. Like, I was like, let me just play. I was
Also, you went for?
I first thought of b4, but then like I was calculating till the end,
Uh-huh.
and then I saw that I'll queen first, and then she'll queen. So like the king is there. If I queened here, I got that check. If I like
I know the viewers are wondering what is Yvonne saying. So here you're thinking of
something. No.
not yet, just pushing the pawn.
Yeah, at first before.
That was actually this is where we saw your game from. I don't even know the first few moves.
Instead of playing b3, I thought of playing b4.
Oh, here
Yeah.
before they wait. I think they're the ones who first
Yes.
played
No.
b5, or b5 was played after the pawn had gotten to c4. Because this is the point where we now started capturing your videos.
Then is it from that?
Here it's actually your turn to play now. And then you went for c takes on b5, clearly winning. Adios. Can't even say hi to me. That's Bolo. And IA just passing by. And actually at this point, after c takes on b5, b4 was actually a very good Zug's one. And I saw once your opponent played the king to h6.
I was like, that's it.
You had
I
already
just
won the
had to
game.
play.
And then just to fast forward the game, you had a very beautiful end game technique. I still can't believe you got that right. Where was it? I'll just show you. After you guys went and queen, and then the king had to come to g2, You had two options. Why didn't you go for queen b2? Maybe just an interesting way of attacking the king. You decided to go for queen g8. Had you also evaluated the possibility of playing queen to b2?
I wanted to go like attack, check the king, then attack the pawn, check the king, attack the pawn.
Oh, that's what you wanted
So
to
that
do?
if they come here,
If the king finally goes
I
to...
come here. If the king
If the
went
king
to
goes to
h2,
h1 or h2?
I'll play queen to g4.
Let me just follow through this
Yes.
variation. Maybe say after queen check, the king, maybe say if the queen went here, you
Yeah,
just
queen
go to
G4.
g4, correct? g4 forces the opponent to lose the pawn, and automatically you're winning. What if they decided to go maybe say to king h1, having some drawing ideas? Sorry, just after maybe say queen g8 check, king h1, having some drawing ideas, and I think this is what was played.
Queen to f7.
Queen to f7,
Yeah.
intimidating them to push the pawn.
Yes.
Oh, so you automatically knew the
Yes. If
king
they,
really the pawn can't be pushed
Yes.
because of f1, sorry, that was made. So in as much as your opponent was thinking of using h2 as a drawing resource, you already knew h2 is met by queen f1, checkmate. That was a good game. And maybe just for starters, how was this game at the start? Because we didn't get to have a look at the game when it was
At the
starting.
start, it was
Which
okay.
opening choice did your opponent go for?
Okay, so basically I played d4, she played d5. I played knight f3, she played f5. So then the opening, it was okay, nothing much. Go to the middle game where I was trying to some tactics, then I had attacked when the queen and rook fork while attacking, you're attacking the pawn when you come to the pawn.
Yes.
So we exchanged some pieces over there, and then first off, I wanted to exchange queens because I didn't want to remain with queens on the board, and then I also didn't want to remain with bishop and knight on the board also. So I just wanted to be rook, and then later on exchange the rooks in this king endgame.
And I also liked your pawn structure. I just noticed you're having 2 pawn islands, whereas your opponent was having 3 pawn islands. And the blockade was just perfect to the extent that you are the one who had that finishing move. Pawn to b4, clearly winning. Well, good play. Well,
One thing about me, I started planning the endgame at the middle game.
oh, good stuff.
Because how I arrange my pieces is how I want them to be in the endgame. The type of bishop, whether I want a light square bishop or a dark square bishop in the endgame. So I'll be like, if I get rid of my opponents and light square bishop, maybe it won't attack me. Because bishops in the endgame they're just so good. I don't like bishops in the endgame, honestly.
Wow, that's a good analogy. So basically, the end game in the opening, you're already thinking about how your end game will look like. And does that kind of give you specific opening choices? Like maybe you say, I know after this opening, I would have a preferred, maybe say pawn structure in the end game, or you just use any opening and then you just know at the end of the day, I want to have this kind of a end game.
Well, I play my opening, and then when we continue going forward, maybe around the middle game, when I want to make this move or capture a piece or maybe push a piece, I'll be like, how will it affect my endgame?
Good stuff. Good game. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for your time, and well, congratulations on your win. Hoping to see you win more games, and I'm supporting Team Kenya. I told you guys, if you want a Team Kenya mascot, I am here. I can just come do some somersaults. Thank you so much. Yes. And there is a game going on. I can see G. Yeah, you can do. Thank you so much. I can see King pawn to G2 has just been played. Black is at the verge of promotion, and White is just about to resign. You can let me just. Black knight. Stands it to play?
I think it's resignation. It's not resignation, I didn't resign. fits, yeah.
promotion.
So what we have is,
This one is here.
let's go back.
Then let me just black to play. I think this was the position, right?
Yeah, that's the position. And
And
then,
that's this board.
yeah,
And
it's black to play there.
this is what you're having, and it's black's turn to play. Black just went for G1, promoting into a queen. And what was white's response? At this point, the game is clearly lost. White went for.
And this is what we're talking about,
C3.
diminishing returns, Isaiah, because you don't need the knight.
Correct.
It's checkmate, king and queen,
When
checkmate.
at
Unless you're not to play how you're going to checkmate king and queen. But no need saving your knight. Let them have it. It's even easier with the knight off the way. Then do that thing, king and queen.
Correct. But now here it's about the knight's distance, and the game is easily won.
I think this is one where
You can see now the king is just being cut off slowly into the corner. The king wants
queen d6 has been played.
queen. Which?
Yeah, d6. Is that d6?
After this check was
Yeah,
played,
there.
E3.
E3, sorry,
Then
E3,
the
yes.
king went to c4, right?
C4, correct.
c4. There you can just waste a move because I remember learning this kind of a technique of what you copy and paste what the king is doing after you've gotten this position. So if I was white, maybe just if I was black, just waste a move, or even ensure this knight is far away from the board so that it doesn't affect my pattern.
Okay.
Maybe say play the knight all the way to f3, and whatever the king does, all you just need to do is copy and paste. If the king goes diagonally down, your queen also goes diagonally down. If the king goes to c6, your king goes
One step to the right.
correct. Whatever white is doing, you just follow until the king only has one more square. Now once the king gets to the corner, you just start bringing your king slowly till the king comes all the way slowly, getting to b6, and finally you get
Yes,
to
that's a very
checkmate.
nice technique you're teaching. Very nice, very simple.
Yeah.
Just copy the king.
Yeah, you just get the knight's distance. Once you've gotten the knight's distance, copy and paste what the king is doing. Once the king has only 2 squares to play, bring your king.
Yeah, although for me, I wouldn't, I will not follow the king at this level. When the king has the back rank, like here, I'm not following the king. I'm never playing this move. In fact, if anything, I'll probably play if I had to play my queen, I'd play
You just move it far away from it.
so there's no room for just stalemate.
Exactly.
But here, as long as you have space to move, I'm very happy with that. And I just play my king.
Correct. Now white only has 3 options.
That's a very nice way. I've played chess for a long time. I know that knight distance thing. But I didn't know that you basically the same move pattern. Like whatever move the king plays, you copy the queen.
Yes.
What a mind! It's just mimicking. It's wrong.
Now you can see. I think king is trying to escape to the king is trying to escape to the other side. King c6 has been played. Maybe we are a move
Let's see if
behind.
white knows your.
Black knows the trick. There, and then here king c6 was played.
So what should you do now? I think this
Even queen e5 is
because I'm seeing on the
better.
board we have what's the position?
And actually the knight is still on. The knight is still on. Yeah, the knight's actually there.
Yeah, and the black is playing your rules.
Let's see.
It's playing your rules. That's a position. It looks like it's in this position. It's white's move. So, but I think he knows your technique.
It actually is black's move. It's black's turn to play.
It's white's move.
Oh, it's actually white's turn to play. White goes to c7, and we are waiting for
Let's
something
see.
like maybe queen d5.
No, it's d5. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that
queen d5 is copying and pasting.
Copy and pasting. Okay.
You can see white has 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes on the clock. Black is having more than enough time, which is 26 minutes on the clock to finish the game. Is this the last game?
Yep. This
Queen
is
d5
black
has been
knows.
played.
Black knows your technique.
Yeah.
Black knows your technique.
Who's playing as black, by the way? I don't even know who's playing as
I
black.
didn't check the board, unfortunately.
But it's okay.
The last game.
and white has to resign.
But they
good
paused the
play
clock
by
for another
Black.
time. Let's see what is our resignation. So white has paused the clock.
Just waiting to see if they are signing the score sheets.
So this is the challenge with commentating a little bit, because the end of this game there'll be no draw, because the opponent is careful. They're not playing carelessly. But you have to wait until the game is over.
Imagine.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Was this the last game in the
This is
hall?
the last game in the hall.
Oh really? Thought we had more games to
The game, all the other games are finished.
commentate. But well, someone is. Every Sam says another game, please. Unfortunately, this is the last game. So stay tuned for round 3. Might be starting at 3 p.m. Yet to confirm the time. Who are the two? We also don't know, unfortunately.
Let me find out. Actually, it's not right to the players that you have not found out. So if Sam, you're right. So I need you to find out. We're gonna find out and tell you exactly.
Okay. On it right away.
This is Bridget Kavesi versus Martha Teresa. I think they're playing under 15 girls, if I'm not mistaken. Bridget Kavesi
Is the Ugandan?
versus Martha Teresa, but they're both Kenyans.
Oh, both Kenyans.
Yeah.
Hello.
So here I could have played
Tamalizia.
the queen to cut off the king on their final rank.
Now, Queen E7 is a good move to play.
Yeah.
Let's see if. Okay. Oh, Queen.
I would have played cut off the king final rank. Let's see. Because that allows.
Yeah. I think Queen D7 was a very good option. Now the problem with copying and pasting is once the king is going up and down, you'll find that you're having a lot of moves
Up and down, but the technique works.
It's a very good technique.
No need to think.
Yes.
Just see what did the king do.
Now wasting a move with a knight.
That wasn't necessary at all. But what they're doing is they want the king to go to the back rank, so they're wasting a move actually.
Yes.
Because the king has to go to a back rank somewhere.
Now
She sees.
when the king gets to A7, even I think B4 is a good option. B4 is a very good move, and then the knight comes anywhere on the 7th rank. Now I'm sure we are planning for mate either on B6 or even B8 at some point. So I hope if Sam you've been answered. We are having Bridget Kavesi, if I'm not wrong, or Kavesa, playing against Martha Teresa. Now King can see the way the opponent. White is actually just running out of options, not really knowing the best option here, because regardless of whatever White plays at some point, the checkmate is just coming.
So now this is checkmate in 3 moves. Queen is at D7 check, knight C6, and queen.
What is not happening on the board?
There's no.
Yeah, Queen C8 has been, King C8 has been played. Then Queen came here. I think maybe it's some recording issue. They're trying to figure out what's not happening with the recording.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Doc. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good afternoon. Yes, you.
The clock was paused for a bit. Now the clock's running, and the last move is Queen d6 on the board. Trying to see if white will resign, or we'll see king b7 as the only move for white being played.
That had not been arranged.
Videos.
So if it's for lunch, then I think they can. Have they take turns? Like one
Queen
person leaves, the other person takes.
7 check.
It's not, yeah, they can.
King has to go to
It's not possible to
b8, and then knight c6 check, king a8, queen queen a7 check, and mate. I am wait, guys, I'm from Uganda. How can I improve my chess? And that is I am god Caesar or
the
one
checkmate is coming before you come back to the I am God, sir. You are the one who should teach us. You are the international master. I am means international master, man. We should be
how
down
do
to
you
your-
improve? You're the one who should
And
give us
just
tips
one moment,
on how
checkmate
to
is coming
improve.
up right now. Well found.
Yeah,
Martha
queen
Teresa is just about to
c7,
win.
queen a7 checkmate.
Queen a7 checkmate is happening
Even
next.
let me see if she'll choose queen c7 or she went for
Yeah,
queen
so
a7 checkmate.
to answer your question, God sir, there is actually. Let me ask this young man: how can he improve his chess? What's your level, God sir? You can tell us what your level is.
Yes. As you're winding up the stream, maybe Godsa just can you tell us what your level is, and then we can see how to tell you, how to inform you, how to enlighten you on how to improve. But this question is directed to you, Mr. Victor. You're the one who's giving us a secret on how to improve. You're clearly the better one here.
Man, you're a strong young player. I'm an old man with grey hair.
Who has experience, even more reasons as to why now you should give us the tips on how to
That was,
improve.
sometimes people say never say never, never say die. Let them checkmate in the board, don't resign. Although for commentators it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell you what I'm gonna do, because guys have not seen you later the whole day.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna bring up the camera and put it here. Then they can see you and tell them goodbye on stream. Because you've done an amazing job. I saw a comment here
Uh-huh.
from someone said good commentary.
That has to be Clifford.
Yes.
Yes.
So Godson, there is enough material on YouTube now on how to improve on your chess.
Correct.
Which runs on your level.
Exactly.
The ideas would be to figure out how to play the opening, first learn the principles, then get a line, then learn the middle game strategies, what you do in those areas, and game different phases. It's not possible to give a generic answer on stream, but I'll tell you, there's enough free material on YouTube to answer that very question. Just Google it and you'll come across 100 different.
And he says he's 1900 on leeches. The question is that bullet, rapid, or blitz? But that means he's actually a solid player, in my
1900
opinion.
is good.
That's like 1600, 1700 FIDE ratings.
So at that
somewhere
level, you
about.
have a problem so maybe you have a problem in your opening, you haven't studied your lines.
Hello.
So thank you so much.
I think you guys can finally see me. How are you guys doing?
Hi guys. That's us there.
Yeah.
Elijah Otieno. No, Elijah, you're so dark today.
I'm so dark.
Not
Oh, that's
me.
rapid. Oh, actually, I think that's a very good rating if that's the rapid rating. I personally think anyone below 2000, and that's my take. Maybe you'll enlighten us. Anyone who's below 2000 rate should mostly focus on their tactical eyes, improve on the opening, and then once you've mastered that, then automatically once you get to that 2000 border or barrier, you should start thinking of now positional chess, understanding chess at a deeper level. But first, maybe focus on the tactics that people normally play.
Tactics is universal. You have to look at tactics through and through from the beginning to the end. That's something that for everybody to do. And that's Isaac trying to look for
the best angles.
But you can lower make it.
Okay, that works.
How to the pop now?
sorry.
Yeah, so I agree. Tactics all round. Figure out your opening very early. And positional chess.
Positional chess, very important. Very, very, very important.
End game, low input, big rewards. Don't neglect it.
Yeah.
And then we also say if you can understand what is positional chess, by the way.
What is positional chess? Oh, that's a good question. What is positional chess? Now, how do we phrase this in such a way that I, as a chess player, can make sense to other people? Actually, I don't have words to describe positional chess. Maybe just say, whenever we're talking
I've played
about.
chess more than 20 years,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't have that answer, and I've simplified it this way.
Uh-huh.
Those are moves that improve your position. How can you improve your position? And
Simple.
make open positions first. And remember the principles I told you about your position, not to analyze it?
Yes.
Maybe your pawn structure,
Correct.
this activity, king safety, those kinds of things.
Those kind of
So
things.
look for moves that will improve one of those areas. Either give you a nice pawn structure, will give you better piece activity, improve your development, improve your king safety, give you a knight outpost, or deny your opponent the same things. It's that simple. Now tactics
Add that.
arise, I write that down. Write that down is something from Martin Luther Primary, MLP. You guys will know that. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. So it's been real, Elijah. You've done a decent job.
Thank you so much. Thank you
I
so
think
much.
people loved your presentation.
Yeah, with actually your help as our lead, and also Aguda joined us. Unfortunately, he had to leave, but Aguda was also helping us with the input. And yeah, hope you guys had a very good time. Kindly don't forget to subscribe to Afadhali. You know, you have to motivate us to be doing this work. So subscribe, you can like, always share the video, and yeah.
Okay, so we had a couple of features this round, but the next round, starting at 3 p.m., they're going to come back better and stronger.
Exactly.
They're going to cover the entire round, and it's going to be fantastic. Don't go away. Which event is this?
This is the African Schools Individual Chess Championship taking place in Mombasa,
Mombasa, Kenya. That's right. The white sandy beaches at the Pride Inn Paradise Hotel.
Yes.
This Pride Inn Flamingo.
Flamingo and Pride Inn Paradise.
And Pride Inn Paradise is a 5-star hotel. It's absolutely amazing. So if you can't take your chopper, take your flight, join us here. If you can't, then we are right here with you on raising chess champions in Africa.
Good stuff.